we asked the question whether in comedy should there be anything that's off limits?
A joke isn't about the subject matter. It's about a mechanism.
The execution.
The best jokes are the ones that have you caught in the crosshairs between feeling bad that you're laughing about this thing, but also seeing the fact that this thing is actually so funny that you will laugh at it, even though it's so bad.
So like the Yoms one, he was talking basically in the Yoms video, just to put clarification because people that haven't seen it.
Who is Yoms?
Yoms
what does he do?
Yoms is an online comedian. He does small clips, maybe about a minute long. So in this particular one, he was in prison. A next man appears behind him.
He's in the shower and he drops the soap.
Yeah, he drops soap. Next man appears behind him and starts washing his back and kisses his back, I believe, as well. Yep. And then rapes him.
You don't see that, do you?
Yeah.
You see him kiss?
Yeah.
That's why a lot of man's that's why there was two people coming out twofold. One, because why are you doing that behaviour? And two, because he got raped by the man.
When I saw the video, because I saw the commotion after he'd taken the video down, right?
Yeah, so me too.
So I went on Twitter and I was just thinking, I think maybe our people are just like, because again, I don't feel like there should be anything off limits, to be honest. I feel like it's fair game. Like, as long as you're someone who can execute the joke well, and you also got to consider your audience, whatever. But when I saw the video, I was just like, literally was just like, oh, what the hell? Like,
a little OTT, innit?
I was just like, what on earth? Like, I don't know. At what point did nobody stop and think?
That is what I thought.
The video was distasteful. It was disgusting. It just wasn't funny.
And it goes back to what I was saying. Like, sometimes funny. You just have to just say nothing.
It just wasn't funny. At all. It just wasn't funny. At all.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, rodents and other small insects. Welcome to another episode of the Eloquently Saying Nothing podcast. I am Stavros Boss, and in the room with me tonight, I have a selection of hot chocolate, and the one in front of me is called Big Wahala.
What's good? Big Wahala's in the building. At Big Wahala on Insta, at Big Wahala on Twitter. That's my name, people.
And beside him, we have the beige style of hot chocolate. So he's had milk added. That is mocha chocolate. That is Simple Simon.
How did disrespect come like that? This first thing in the morning.
I just called you hot chocolate. It's a sexual chocolate,
man. You
said
beige. Beige, you know, bruv.
It's not an insult.
It is an insult.
It's just your colour.
Nah, bruv. Beige.
That's not beige, bruv.
That's like there's no nutritional value in beige, is there? Come on.
Yeah, like cardboard, isn't it?
Oh my days. Exactly.
What, are you saying like he's at Amazon?
At Simple Simon FB.
Oh man.
Yeah, at Simple Simon FB on Twitter.
Colorist
boy.
Okay, and then beside him we have, you had your tall glasses and you have your short glasses. We have a short cup mug.
Bastard.
Of hot chocolate. Yeah, a shot glass of hot chocolate.
Coffee, yeah.
I'm a cappuccino, bruv.
Alright, and cappuccino. Go for it.
To be a relation of someone is no excuse to become a liability to the person. Looks at these guys with a side eye. Do not abuse your privilege. There is limits to everything.
You know what that sounds like?
What's that?
They killed our nepotism.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it sounded like.
That's completely different, bad. But anyway, that is Mr. Wolf, and he's going to give you socials.
Yeah, aka Mr. Wolf on Insta, aka _ Mr. Wolf on Twitter.
Man was battling dementia there, but
I am at Stavros Bus. Use the hashtag ESN Pod. ESN Pod. Yes, I said ESN Pod on your social medias to find us, and find us at ESN Podcasts everywhere. And we have a very special guest. She's a returning guest, and she is SincerelyTops.
Yes, so
Hi.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to say something profound here?
No, hi is as profound as you want.
Cool.
You good? How are you?
I'm very, very well.
Sorry for the wait.
It's fine. It's fine.
I just want to say,
That sounds like it's not fine.
There are 4 males in the room and just one SincerelyTops. She can seem to handle that.
Yeah.
Like other people can't handle the reverse. But let's carry on talking anyway.
Who can't handle that?
Let's just carry on talking anyway.
I feel like there was a shot fired, but
Yeah.
I don't know which way that shot was fired.
I'm just saying it because some people.
Are you saying that Stavros can't handle
No,
that?
so some people, see, like, there's, if there's only a certain amount of people in the room, so maybe there's only 2 males and a couple of other, Can I say the word females or should I say women?
You
in
say
a room,
women. We say women.
We say women in a room. That the
PC
males
business.
can't deal with it. I'm just saying, innit? Well,
There was no need for that.
I'm
man.
just saying, innit?
There was no need for that.
There's always a need.
There was no need for that.
You
Keep
know
going
that
anyway.
you know that when there's bullets just flying
Just
everywhere.
flying everywhere. And I'm like, which one is for me?
You don't know where they came from. Yeah, you don't know where they came from when you don't know where they're going. Like, it's mad. I'm sitting here like, what's going on here?
Where's your sound effects for them things anyway?
He ain't got his sound
you know-
effects board, man. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Maybe New Year or something.
We got
hooked up for New Year, and I've got this thing. I've got this idea actually. I want to do an African segment every week. What do you reckon?
I
Because
don't know.
like something where we just talk about back home. I want to call it the back home segment. And we
Okay.
just talk about something that's going on back home. Because
Fair enough.
we got one this week. We had one last week. I've got bare for next week, anyway. So yeah. Anyways, so that's an idea that we need to flesh out. We didn't even have this vote, so I'm just gonna because
No way are you paying 4-minute video on this podcast.
it's not that one. I'm not worried about that because I'm actually gonna do that. And when you hear it, you won't. Like I said, you can stop it. When
I
you
heard
stop
it.
Tops, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on again.
Okay.
Hold on. That sounded laboured.
No, I'm honestly,
Again.
if I didn't want to be here, I would not be here.
You know, like that.
You know she's famous now anyway, innit?
I know.
Oh, stop it.
Candy conversations and all
Stop
that.
it.
I'm over here not trying to say too much.
Yeah,
you know,
candy
like that.
conversations.
Last time we invited you on,
Mhm.
or I invited you on because
Yeah.
I thought, oh yeah, man, this is a sensible woman, and I like having sensible voices, and I would like to have a conversation with her in person. And got to the point where I actually now want to link up with her and her husband, and me and my wife and our children link up together.
Yeah,
That's how
it's fun.
sensible
Yeah,
it was, and we're just trying to find some time to do that.
Mhm.
But now we're just using you because you're famous.
You need to stop that.
I like that. I like
You
that.
know what? I actually love your laugh. Whenever I would listen to your pod on the way to work, and I'm like, his laugh is so
It's
funny.
mad, isn't it?
It's
At
ridiculous.
first I couldn't place who it was, but I eventually
We know.
knew it
I
was
only
you.
laugh like that when I'm here. You know,
No, you
for some
don't.
reason.
No, bro. This sounds like you
Okay,
love.
all right. I'm sorry. I'm
So
sorry,
bad.
I'm sorry. I love my laugh, man.
But yeah, man, we're glad to have you back. And I'm glad to see that your platform is doing very, very well. Thank you for having me on your platform, by the way.
Oh, for those of you that don't know,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
lay the foundation. That's
Okay,
my new
so-
line. Lay the
Tops-
foundation.
Tops
What is
is the host
Mm.
of Candid Conversations?
Are you the executive producer as well?
Why don't,
Yeah.
why don't
She-
you
she-
tell us what you do
Yeah, man.
What do I do?
in
Talk
terms
your
of
things,
your
man.
platform, innit?
Big yourself up.
Well, I host the show, so I'm sort
What
of like Candid Conversation. So I'm sort of like the facilitator when we have the discussions.
Who told you you could have 4 syllables in a word? It's 3 and under.
Okay. Yeah, do
You're
your
too
laugh
dark
again.
skinned.
Do your laugh again.
No.
Let us finish, man.
So yeah, so that's the part of host, and then exec producer. Like I'm not. There's the creator of the show is a lady called Kibibi, and she produces the show, and we work together.
Okay.
And behind the scenes, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. So we obviously have to come up with what we're going to talk about. We also decide on the guests. We book the work, we book the studio. There's just a lot that goes into that, like 45 minutes, 50 minutes that you see. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and I get my hands very dirty. I will approach people to come on the show. Since the show has kind of picked up a bit of attention, people now approach us to join the show. So it's, it's getting a bit easier now because people want to come on the show, so I don't have to beg people to come on the show.
Can I ask you, who edits your visuals? Like, who edits the actual live video footage?
Who's
Yeah.
our editor?
Yeah.
Ion Matthews.
Is that a guy?
Yeah, so he's
Ion
on
Matthews.
he has a show called The Timeline 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he edits our shows.
Okay, that's cool.
You know what? I was hoping it was a woman. Not to disrespect you, Mr. Io. I was hoping it was a woman because I was gonna say that the editing is banging. The editing.
Yeah,
So
no,
why-
the
so why
editing is
can't-
amazing.
why
He's
can't
an
man-
amazing editor. Shout out Ion.
Why
He's
can't
an
man have a
amazing
good editor?
Yeah, it's nice to have a man that's good at editing, but it's not. I wanted it to be a woman.
Yeah,
innit?
I mean, I can edit. We can edit, but we've got enough on our plate. We need
Yeah,
someone that can just take the files and then work their magic, and he is amazing.
Nah, he's editing his fire. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay. I'm glad to see that you're doing your things. As I said, I'm glad that you invited me onto the show.
Yeah.
And I came on the show. I had a really good time on the show when I did it as well. I was very well behaved. Anybody that knows me on the podcast knows how I can cause a bit of trouble. In fact, Mo from what's it called? Colour at the Box podcast said that if I go on any show, I'm gonna cause ruckus. That was what she actually believed it ought to be. But as Top's gonna say, I was very well behaved. I went on there, I said my bits and my bobs. I didn't cause any problems.
And how were you received by the ladies?
I was received by most of the ladies.
No. What's that? What is that? What do you mean most? Were you received well?
I was received well. Whoever I spoke to anyway, I was received well.
Okay.
Why
I
was
didn't
you
get
well
to speak to
behaved?
everyone.
Why was you well behaved?
Because I didn't want anybody to. Because for one, at first they thought I was gonna go there and cause problems, which I didn't do. And two, it was. I don't want to go on somebody else's show and not respect the show, innit?
It's not a disrespect, but you know.
Nah,
if
some
you-
people
you know,
go on shows and they wanna be like, they wanna wild out just to get the look, the likes. I didn't have to do that. The conversation goes a certain way. You take the conversation a certain way. If the conversation went a different way, then I'll go a different way. But for me, it was one of those conversations where you sit down and you're just having a good old-fashioned debate. You bust two joke in there, you enjoy yourself, but it's not for you to then try and take over the show and start, being wild.
If he comes on
Get-
again, can you antagonize him?
Get it off your chest, bro. Just say it. You're not chids, innit? Just say it. Just
No,
say
no,
it.
no.
Yeah, I went there.
I don't think that
I
was
went
it.
there.
I'm
my
not
God.
saying that because I wasn't there when he was on there.
I'm playing, man.
But I'm saying when I was on there, that's how the conversation went.
Or maybe it was just a topic of conversation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
White
if we
allies.
spoke about something else, maybe that would have brought out another side of
If
you.
I was on the White Allies show, I don't know. I think you would have. I would have to have tell me to leave, or there's bare editing because all I would have been doing was laughing because Stuart, Arthur, Timothy, whatever his name was,
Oh my God.
Tarquin.
he was stressed.
Yeah.
He was stressed. They were asking him questions and he was like, "What?
Bless him.
Properly
all I can
stressed
say.
white
What
boy."
kind of questions are they asking?
They weren't even asking questions. They were talking about in general. So people were talking about their experiences as black people. And Tops was saying about how she got stopped and she did what every woman does and almost gets her husband arrested. By the way, so she,
No. In fairness, I was pregnant, so I was highly hormonal.
whatever, man. Every woman does the same thing. It's like, have you ever been stopped with a woman before?
No.
Have you ever been stopped with a woman before?
Yeah.
What happened when you got stopped with a woman?
You end up spending a lot of time asking the woman to calm down.
Yes.
What kind of generalization is this?
Have you ever?
No,
it does happen.
no. To be honest, honestly, if I wasn't pregnant, I really do feel like I would have handled it differently.
I have faith in her as well.
I would have handled it differently, but I was tired. It was a long night.
Tell
We'd
us
just been
what
at a
happened.
wedding. We were at a wedding, like far out in like the countryside, basically where there's no white people. It was in some castle
No
somewhere.
black people.
No white people. No
Sorry,
black
no
people.
black people.
Mm-hmm.
It was in a castle somewhere. So we drive. You know, when you drive down those country hills where there's like
Mm-hmm.
no lights, right?
Yeah.
And for a while, I noticed there was a car behind us, and I'm just thinking, this is not anyone from the wedding because we left early. And I knew it was the police,
Them
and he was
as
just
well
like,
blacks.
no, it's not. I was like, no, no, it's the police. So eventually, I'm like, I thought that they're making you to stop. So
Juju.
we stopped, and I was by this point, I was so angry and just because I was tired. We left because I was tired, and then that's when the guy came to the window, and I just completely lost it. And obviously, he's just like, okay, can you calm down? And then the police officer's like, can you step out of the car, please, sir? And then he made him do a breath, all this stuff. And I'm sitting there like, literally like, what do I do? And then Stuart's like, oh my God, that's balmy.
Yeah, Timothy really didn't understand what was going
name
on.
is-
But hold on, just because he got stopped by police, he didn't do nothing. He didn't even do nothing though.
That sounded like a sequence from some type of initiation into the Illuminati. That's what it sounded like. They follow you down some country lane.
We
far,
weren't
far
even
out.
like it was so odd because it wasn't even like we were on the main road. Like we had done, like we were just coming from like, and that's why I was pissed off because it was just like, why are you stopping us? They made him take. They're like, I think they were like, I don't even remember. I can't remember what was said, but they made him do like a breathalyzer. They made him walk in some straight like just all nonsense. And then they let him go, but they let us go.
Did they ask him to bogle?
That would have been interesting. I think I would have got out of the car at that point.
There was one time that I got stopped with the police and I was with a woman, and it was a woman policeman and a man policeman stopped me and the woman, and it got to the point where me and the other man policeman was just standing back watching the two women argue with each other to the point because they were both vexed at each other because obviously she was vexed because I got stopped for no reason. The other one was vexed because I was cussing her off or cussing them off, and we just stood there and watched them cuss each other to the point where they stopped and was like, can I go? Yeah, that's fine, let's go. And I just left.
Tops.
It's happened many times before.
Quick question to move on from the police.
Yeah, please, let's move on from them.
Your video thing that you do.
Ban them.
The video thing that I do.
Yeah.
Disrespect, innit?
Oh God. It's all right.
If
Candid
Tops, I'm telling you,
conversations,
it's your
ladies and
friends. You
gentlemen.
can't trust them. You can't
Honestly.
trust them.
if
Let's move on.
I don't know if you saw this video that I posted on Twitter where there was a black man getting police were trying to take this black man. There was about 4 of them.
And he got
three
away,
men and a woman. Thank you for spoiling. You're such a spoiler. Anyways, they had him in a
I'm gonna
cuff.
tell a story for about 5 minutes in it, but anyway.
Let's let him say what he's saying. Go on.
They had him in one cuff. They had cuffed one of his hands and
Yeah.
they had CS gassed him and they were trying to pin him down. And it was a big man, a black man.
Yeah.
He was in the ends, whatever ends, I don't know what it was,
It was
but he was
east.
in the ends.
It was east.
Yeah. And basically, after like a minute and a half, he fought them all off and he eventually ran away. And the police were so tired that they didn't even chase him.
What was this in the UK?
Yeah. Now,
Sorry.
I said that depending on what, and this is black people, by the way, so I don't know, but I'm not judging anybody else, but black people I'm judging. Depending on their reaction to that, what happened at the end of that video when because he didn't look like he was gonna get away. Because like I said, he was cuffed for them.
They were beating him. They were
hitting
gassing him.
The truncheon out.
So there was
licking
4
the
police
brother.
officers
Yes.
for one guy.
Yes.
3 men, 1 woman.
Yep. And then when he got away, what would you think? What would go through your mind when you see him? He actually got away.
Thank God.
Anyone that's like, oh no, they didn't stop him.
People were saying, oh, he's got a gun in his hand. I was like, that's the handcuffs that was in his hand. Like, why are you adding things?
A good thing he was over here because he would have got
America,
shot
yeah,
and
shot.
killed. No long thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that they didn't taser him.
They did.
They did, innit?
I think that was one of the things he
Did
might
they?
have had in his hand, the taser. But
Wow.
they tried to
I
taser
don't
him.
remember him. I don't know.
They tried to taser him.
Have you seen
I
that
don't
video in the
remember
US where they tased a man with his 2-year-old in his hand?
Yeah.
No, I don't like watching it.
Yeah. I
I
saw
can't watch
that.
that. I just
Don't
too
like
much.
watching
I'm telling you that them American videos like snuff movies, basically.
Yeah.
Like it's just about to happen.
I just don't
Can you
watch
imagine you tase the guy, he has a heart attack, he
it.
dies.
I won't be surprised if these people don't pay people to do this stuff and film it, you know. But anyway,
he didn't attack nobody. You know, he was mouthy, but he didn't attack nobody.
They
He was
don't-
on his
they-
own. He was in his own house.
they don't care.
Anyways, let's get into the topics.
Let's do this.
Well, we might as well continue with this theme of crime and whatnot, and we'll talk about the Camberwell, the brawl and the stabbing that happened. This is a couple of weeks now.
What are we going to talk about?
Sorry,
What are we talk about that?
speak English, bro.
Like, what's there to talk about?
I don't know. I suppose it goes into knife crime, really.
I'm not talking specifically about knife crime again.
Okay. In fact, ask the question then. Go.
There is no question. Somebody wanted us to discuss it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, fan.
Okay, but what happened though?
Just randomly says sorry, fam. Go on.
Oh, fan, as
so
in
it says
fan.
sorry, fan, as the fan,
Yeah.
the person that's listening.
Lay the foundation.
I think there was a big fight in
All right.
Camberwell.
There was a quadruple stabbing, and a boy was charged after 2 seriously hurt. So one person got murdered, and 3 obviously was stabbed. 6 males were arrested on suspicion of violent disorder, grievous bodily harm, and this happened in Camberwell, like this Thursday, the 16th, I think, of August. So obviously
just
it's a
the
while
other
ago. And they say that one of the person that died was a what's this music style again that they keep blaming for
Drill.
Yeah,
Is this a drill artist one?
I
that got
believe so. He was a drill artist, and apparently he'd just been let off because they thought he was arrested
for killing someone else or something?
somebody else in a similar area, and he had just been let off basically. So he'd been cleared of those charges.
So he might be a
And
revenge
he was the
thing.
one that got murdered.
He's the one. Yeah,
He might have been a revenge thing. Maybe he did actually do it and he just never he bust case.
maybe.
I don't know. But it's all of this killing is mad, man. It's a bit like when that model one
Hold on.
that I've been reading.
Tops, are you addicted to your phone?
I was actually just reading an article to like familiarize myself.
Allow
Yeah, but
her,
we're
allow her.
conversing now.
Yeah,
I love
if
that
I'm gonna
very well.
contribute,
Allow the
then I
woman,
need to
Jared.
like read up.
You know what? I like the way she just walks with her gun out, ready to shoot, man.
Oh.
I love it. I love it.
Because you were just like, so I thought, all right, let me just quickly look at the article again, just so I can follow.
As long as you quickly look at the article whilst you're talking,
Which is
into
what
the
I was
microphone.
doing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so with regards to this thing, it's almost like I don't know. That Camberwell one was bad. That one where the model got stabbed as well. That one hurt me, man.
The model got
That
stabbed.
was just ridiculous. Didn't I hear about the model, the black boy that was
Harry.
doing modeling? Oh yeah, Harry, one Nigerian boy. He was doing modeling, and one of his other models that was involved in the modeling, him and them had a beef. They had an argument about something stupid to do with.
It was
him
over a
saying-
woman, innit?
Yeah, no, it wasn't even over a woman. The guy was saying that he slept with the guy's woman when he hadn't. It was some. it wasn't even over a woman.
I got a little more sense than that.
Yeah, but you know, he had said that, but it wasn't just that though. It wasn't just that. There was other stuff that was involved. Apparently, the guy was jealous. He was doing things, trying to copy everything that he was doing. That's what they were saying, that he was trying to copy stuff.
all this
And
stuff.
eventually, they said
So
to him,
young,
they
man.
must have said to him, "Well, let's link up. Okay, that's cool." These mans went with two barbells, and the other guys went with knives, and they killed him.
You know
Madness.
what I see from these
Balenciaga
kind of
beef.
things. What I get when these guys are having beef and people are dying is that when you get down to the root cause of what the issue is, it's something so minor
Nonsensical.
and stupid.
They weren't washing the meat.
It's people. They just don't value life, man, and it's very, very sad that our young brothers and sisters, because there are some women that are dying as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a London Underground thing as well, where people were just dying outside of London Underground stations up in northwest London. There's a lot. You
I heard
you
about
can't
that.
even keep up, man. There's just so much going on, and I don't know, man.
Sometimes you just have to. It's selfish. Well, not so. I want to use the word selfish, but you just have to kind of protect your peace. Like when I see this stuff, a lot of time I don't want to read it, or if I do, and then you get upset, and I just don't know what like possesses a child to think, do you know what? I'm gonna go out. Let me just pick up a knife. Like I don't even, and that's sort of part of the reason why I don't really talk about it, because I'm not. That's not my world. I mean, when growing up, you were kind of around it, but I don't know to blame it on, because the thing that I see a lot is that people blame it on, are trying to blame it on music, on like drill music. For one, I don't listen to drill music, so I have no idea what drill music is anyway, but I just feel like blaming it on just one thing, I think is ridiculous to say that it's just drill music. I think it's a collection of things that will cause someone as young as 14 or 15 to pick up a knife or to pick up a gun. But I think it's easy to blame it on drill music because people don't really want to talk about the actual real issues. The media want to just like have a target, because knife crime and gun crime is not a black issue in the UK. It isn't a black issue.
Of course not, yeah.
But it's easier for them to say that it's something that the black community needs to focus on.
The question I want to ask though, and I hear it a lot, maybe the question has been asked and I just haven't heard this being done. They normally like to blame music. There was a period of time where they were blaming computer games, but how comes they never had this conversation about Hollywood's impact?
They have. I think this was like a long time ago.
But then after a while, it gets to the point where
they've had that conversation.
It's like, oh, you can't be Hollywood anymore because it's still going on. In the end,
but Hollywood hasn't changed, and Hollywood's probably gotten worse.
It's mental health, man. A lot of this stuff is just mental health, and people just don't know it and acknowledge it. Right. Some of these youths is mad.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, to be honest with you, dwelling on this is we have a lot of stuff to talk about this week. We did have a lot of questions sent in last week that we're probably not going to get to go through, so I'm just going to apologize now. Anyway, let me just apologize now. So if you did send us a question last week and we feel that we've aged out of it because we didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, apologies. But our guest has a couple of topics she wants to talk about, which are kind of juicy and current. So we're gonna let's get into one of them now.
Yes.
So which one do you want to talk about first? You tell me.
Let's talk about the kneeling one.
Okay, yeah.
So this week, can I introduce it?
Please, go ahead. But as long as you just talk in the mic when you do it, please.
Sorry.
In Jesus'
guys,
name.
I'm used to like being in front of a camera, so I'm gonna try. Okay, so this week on Twitter,
gunshots.
Is that shade on
No, of course not. Of course not. So there was a lady on Twitter this week who tweeted that at her traditional engagement, she didn't kneel for her husband.
And a traditional engagement is?
So
I know it's self-explanatory, but still.
Yeah, so Nigerian Yoruba culture, we have a traditional engagement ceremony where...
many other cultures too.
Yeah, but this one specifically was a Yoruba culture, right?
Okay,
right.
I don't know, I'm not sure actually.
I think it was. No, she looked like a Yoruba bride. So basically, you're supposed to kneel in front during the ceremony. There's various things that goes on, but there's a point in the ceremony where the bride will kneel before her husband or husband to be, and I think he'll pray for her, give her money or whatever. I can't really remember. It's a long time ago. Anyway, she said that in her ceremony that her and her husband had spoken to the alaga, which is like the host of the thing, that she isn't to say that she should kneel, and there's some other things that she shouldn't say.
Something about submission.
Yeah, basically they felt that her kneeling to her husband was like made her inferior or like was subservient or something like that.
But they said they shouldn't use the word submission either. So
shouldn't use the word submission. Shouldn't say in Yoruba you say like the house, going to your husband's house, that she shouldn't say that as well.
Okay.
So various things in the ceremony were omitted because she felt that it I don't know, it was
too old-fashioned.
Yeah, like it was archaic. The word patriarchy and misogyny, all these different words have been floating around. Misogyny. And so somebody, Mo Chunk, she has her own platform, shout out Mo, and she asked the question, what do you think? Do you think the whole kneeling thing? So I responded and was just like, I don't really care, to be fair. I did it. I didn't really think about it. I just did it, and that's that. And I'm still a bad bee, and that was that. I don't see the big deal. That's just me. I did not see the big deal. But then I had an exchange with somebody who tried to break it down, and I was just like, okay, I can kind of see where you're coming from. But
so you feel bad now?
No, I don't care. It's not, honestly, this is not the hill that I'm trying to die on. Do you know what I mean? I didn't care. Like kneeling in front of him wasn't a big deal, and if I would never marry a man that I felt made me feel inferior anyway.
Hey,
so in the act of kneeling doesn't make me feel inferior. Mm-hmm. If I felt it did, I wouldn't do it.
Maybe on that front, the bride, groom, the groom, makes his woman feel like that behind closed doors.
I mean, in that case, in that situation, she said that her and her husband had come to the agreement that there were certain things that weren't going to be done, and on her clothing it said, so I can't remember, but they'd done quite a lot to kind of fashion it to how they wanted, right? Which is fine. I don't think that's a problem.
This conversation, done.
Sorry, did you want to say? I was going to ask a question. How can it still be called a traditional wedding if a lot of the traditional stuff has been removed?
Well, that's a good question, because when I was going back and forth with someone about this, I was just like, well, I mean, if you're not going to do that, then why do the whole thing anyway?
Exactly.
Because the whole ceremony itself signifies you leaving your dad's or your father's house.
Yep.
There's a dowry that takes place.
Yes.
There's a letter that's written and read, and you're effectively being given to your husband.
Benny.
And there's like... there's money exchange and all this other stuff. So I was just like, well, if it's that big of a deal, then just don't do the ceremony.
The conversation you had with this person that made you see things from the other side, what did she say? That was it? It was a woman.
Yeah.
What did she say?
No, it's not that I never saw it from. It's not that I don't see it at all. Okay. I do. I just don't. It's just not that big of a deal to me.
What did she say?
Oh, she said a lot. She said
anything that resonated with you, like you thought.
She didn't say anything that I didn't already anticipate, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Sense. Like the whole like.
It doesn't help anything, but it makes sense.
Well, I mean, kneeling before your husband and some of the traditions that we have are sort of steeped in the whole like the woman is sort of less than the man. You're to serve your husband. So I get it.
Well, the husband served the wife in different ways, but even in the traditional wedding. The husband still kneels as well, but this doesn't kneel to his wife.
He prostrates to the family. He prostrates to the bride's family. Yeah, that is a very like
a big thing in the party.
As in you go flat down.
All of them, man, them must prostrate.
But as it was pointed out by a few people, and I had to say, because that's the first thing that comes into in my head. The woman bows to the man, apparently. In my one, because we did mine Ghana style, because the wife was, and that's the only thing I gave her. I said, listen, I'll do it like your style. So everything else I kind of made Nigerian, but that one. So in our one, she bowed to my mum and dad. She didn't bow to me. She bowed to them, and they basically gave her a blessing. Like we're happy to have you in us. And then we did the prostrate to them, and they didn't even want it because they don't do that. I don't think they. So we all prostrated, and they were like, "Oh God, we're embarrassed," kind of thing. But that's what we did. But the point was, in the Yoruba culture, because like I said, she did my parents, I did her parents, kind of thing. But in our culture, the woman bows to the man, and the man bows to the family. So she's bowing to you, saying, "I'm servant to you," and he's bowing to the family, saying, "Well, you can say thank you, basically. Thank you for giving me this meat."
It's
signifying. I can now eat.
No, it's signifying that the bowing is still to signify that now I'm taking. Thank you for giving me your responsibility to now serve your daughter. So serve your family. Serve this family by looking after this daughter.
You're adding in your own.
Yes, I am.
You're adding in your own little thing. Yes, I
am.
That's
but in general, it is to signify thank you for giving me this, your wife, and you're allowing us to.
Even the language, like it's like this is what some women have are uncomfortable with. Oh, thank you for giving me. Look, bro,
but it's not wife. They call it flower.
I am voluntarily marrying you. Nobody's giving me.
Yeah, but traditionally, that's not how it would happen, is it? Traditionally, if you're going to do a traditional wedding, somebody will come and say to the parent, "Oh yeah, I've seen something in the house," and the person will say, "Which one have you seen?" And he will say, "I've seen this one.
I've seen a flower in your diary."
I've seen a flower. Which color? His color is purple. Purple flower. Okay, let us see if purple flower is accepting of because you still have to ask the daughter. You're still supposed to ask. And the daughter will say yes or no. If the daughter says yes, then the dad will come out and say, "Okay, the flower is ready to be plucked." And then the person will say, "Okay, I'll come in 2 so weeks, and we'll come and do this exchange." And that's how it went.
But, as a respect thing, innit? You go to the man of the house.
Yeah,
and the man of the house is that. You don't go to the.
So it's exactly the same thing as when you want to propose to a woman. You're supposed to go to the father and say, "Can I have your
daughter's hand in marriage?"
It's exactly what it is. Yeah. So people like to go on like the things are so different, but it's not the same way that people are saying, "Okay, you got a problem with somebody bowing down to serve you at the what's it called," but none of you are complaining when they're bowing down to put their ring in their hand to say, "Can you marry me?" That's not a problem.
No, I did actually say that to her. That so when a man proposes, does he not kneel? And look, I don't want it to seem as if I care, because I really don't. Like to me, it wasn't even something that I thought about when we did the whole process.
It's because you're confident in yourself.
Because it's just what it is. And I've grown up in Yoruba culture where it's just something you do. Like when you're in front of elders, you kneel. Like it's just something that I've done. It's not, I don't think about it. I just do it. You know what I mean?
You know what I think one of the biggest problems with us and our culture and our identity with our culture is like we continually put it up, especially traditions. We continually put it up against a modern gaze and then try to make comparisons. So earlier on you said that the argument was that the languages that's even used where you've given your daughter or what have you. But even in white wedding, your dad gives you away.
Yeah.
That's the terminology. So exactly the same significance is there.
Yeah.
But because we're doing it now, we're now questioning our own language.
But a European feminist might say the same thing. They might have their own issues that we're just not clocking.
Maybe.
We're not living in that world, so we're not privy to that kind of argument.
I just feel like, for me, because it's meant to be a joyous occasion. It's a celebration. Do you know what I mean? And
it's a time to pick something and complain about it.
But the thing, your wedding ceremony or whatever you're doing should be how you want it to be. Do you know what I mean? So if you don't feel comfortable with kneeling before your husband, then that's on you. Do you know what I mean? But I feel as if like it's more about what's in your, and it's so corny, but it's more about what's in your heart and how your husband makes you feel. And if you feel like kneeling before your husband makes you feel lesser than a human, or doesn't make you feel like you're both, on the same page, I don't know. Like, should you really be? I don't know.
Don't marry.
No, finish the sentence.
Like, should you really be marrying him? And from that, so kneeling in front of my husband to give him cake or for him to bless me or whatever. In that moment, I'm not thinking, oh my God, I'm on my knees. Oh my God, like it's whatever. Do you know what I mean? But I respect people, standing up for what they believe in, and if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do.
No, but I think it comes back to what Wahala said last week about his dislike for, is it campaigning?
Yeah.
So basically, agendas. That's it. So basically, if this individual person didn't want to kneel at her traditional, and she had that conversation with her husband or her fiance, and they agreed, and she didn't kneel, that's fine. Why do you have to now make an agenda of it? Why does it have to be a thing where you're turning around?
Everybody posts things on the internet.
You're turning around telling everybody else, oh yeah, I didn't kneel at my traditional. We shouldn't have to kneel at a traditional. If that's what you want to do, what you want to do in it. Why does it have to turn into a thing now?
To be fair, it's a post saying that I didn't do it. And I discussed this with my partner, and we spoke to the person that dealt with the thing.
Lager.
So that's it.
Said, some laggers said, well, if you're not doing that, I'm not doing it. So, but they want the money still.
No, I'm paying you, B. You're gonna do what I say.
They want the money still. But she was talking about something about not asking for money as well. In theirs, I think I saw that something.
She knew dowry or something.
I'll stop reading this.
I mean, it is. The only thing that I was against when I was getting married was that I did not want to say the word obey in my vows. That was the only thing that I said.
Obey. Yeah, but both sides.
That was the only thing. No, the men don't say it.
Is it?
Nope.
So what did the men say?
I don't know.
I'm sure they say both.
Men do not say obey.
Is this the white wedding?
The white wedding.
So you can't trust white people.
The men don't say obey. It's just the women. I'm pretty sure it's just the women.
You know what? At work, I was at work, and then one of the ladies at work goes to me, "Oh, you gonna invite me to your wedding?" I said no. And then she goes, "Oh, what about none of it? None of it." I said no. I said and I said definitely not to the white wedding. And she looked at me for ages, like, "What?" And she was like, "What? There's like a wedding for just the white people."
Oh my God.
And she's right. She's right. She's right to ask that question because there was the red wedding and people died there. So you know what I'm saying?
It's just the white wedding. That's the white dress wedding. Like I thought people knew that.
You should have played along and yeah.
I thought that's for your things. Like I thought that was you people that made that up.
Why would white people have to call it a white wedding?
Because it's the white dress wedding. That's what they call it.
Yeah, but they wouldn't. It's just a wedding.
Doesn't everyone know that?
Yeah, that's the white wedding.
But it's just a wedding, isn't it?
No, they call it the white wedding because some people go registry still in it, and they don't have that white wedding.
Boy.
All right. Tops.
Yeah.
Next topic.
Or you bought wedding.
Okay, so next topic. So on our Candid Conversations platform, we asked a question.
Plug.
We asked a question on Candid Conversations about a picture that Chipmunk put on his Instagram, and he had some beautiful ladies on a boat.
You stole this question from somebody else, but
there weren't a lot of black women. I think there's only like one or two.
There was one.
Anyway, so there were some girls in his comments. Yeah, there was a girl in his comments that basically was blasting him, saying,
I saw that.
Yeah, did you see it? So saying that, he doesn't have any black women in their photo or whatever. So we put the question on Twitter and was just like, well, do you agree? Should artists have a responsibility to promote black women and yada yada yada? We had a plethora of responses, and then it turns out anyway that the video did have some black women in the video. So whatever. Anyway, what came out of that is that there was an exchange between some ladies from a podcast and another lady, and one of them must have said something like, the lady from the podcast said she
I'll
mentioned
read
a
it.
bunch of girls. Go
Gigs, Chip, Lethal. This is the Gathering Pod, by the way. So
Yeah.
shout them out.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Gary.
we have our love-hate relationship with
Yeah,
them.
we got beef with them still.
on. Why?
No, we don't have beef with them. We love them, but we
Yeah.
hate them at the same time. 'Cause
Okay.
they're gonna shoot us when they see us, but it's
They're
cool.
good. They'll be on here soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
So no, hopefully, man. I'll bring them on in. I'll drag them, and one of them can sit right beside me. The one that doesn't want to sit beside me, that's the one that's going to sit beside me.
wow.
Yes. She has no
Misogyny.
choice. Exactly, misogyny. Anyways, Gigs, Chip, Lethal, Dizzy, Wiley, Skepta, Stormzy, J Hus, and pretty much every other UK grime hip hop act who I can't name are all colorist and have displayed their preference for non-black or lighter skinned females time and time again. Just choose to pay, then dust. I don't actually know what that last line means, but anyways.
Maybe just ignore them. Maybe that's what that means.
Okay, so yeah, I'm an old man. I don't know this young language. Anyways, somebody responded, God will get all of them back by giving them DS children. I don't know why people just can't put full words, but DS is dark skin. So God will get all of them back by giving them dark skinned children. And then the Gathering Pod said amen. So Tops, you want to talk about this?
Whoa, hang on. The Gathering Pod said amen.
Amen
Yeah,
to
they,
what?
they co-signed it
To
basically.
give them dark-skinned children.
Yes, we'll get them all
So
back.
now we're doing the curse of Ham.
Right.
Explain the curse of him for people that don't know.
It's just the same.
That's so long, isn't it?
Yeah, it's long.
It's a religious thing, man.
It's a religious
go,
thing.
go pick your Bibles.
Yeah,
Pick your
go on,
Bible.
go on. Just
No,
search.
say it, man. Say don't. You don't have to go so deep into it. Just say exactly what it means.
The curse of Ham started once. Well, it started from the Garden of Eden, innit? And then you had the people, and then they had their children, and then one of the children went bad, and then they got cursed. The curse of Ham, and the curse of Ham meant that your children are now going to be black. So the black people are apparently
That's where they
yeah.
believe that
Yeah.
people became
so black people
innit?
black people are cursed
And,
because
and yet people follow Christian
you didn't
religion.
you
But
didn't
I'm
know
gonna-
nonsense.
No,
I'm gonna let
no.
it keep going.
Who's the one that Cain or Abel? Which one is it? Which one killed which?
I don't know.
Cain killed Abel.
So Cain's son is Ham. One
Yeah.
of Cain's son is Ham, and he was cursed. And then that's where black people come from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, big up you Christian blacks.
Yeah. Come on.
All right,
Yes.
so
Big us up. Yes.
you're one of them, innit?
I'm a Christian.
She goes to
yes.
the Jew Christian church.
Where?
The Jew one. What's the one that they call it?
Spac
No, I
Nation.
don't. No, I
Spac
don't. Go
Nation.
there. I do not go there.
She's not
You,
having
you
it
go
at all.
in
but-
with your trainers.
Oh yeah, my balaclava.
Anyway, what do we think about this? Because I think I understand where they're coming from. I get the term.
What
So
term?
I get what they were trying to say,
No,
but,
no,
it- but
oh,
it's-
you do. Okay, can you please explain to me what they meant?
It's just like when people say, "Oh, you're cussing fat people." Watch when you get a fat. Watch you go fall in love with a fat woman. It's just like this. They're not saying that there's anything wrong with the fat woman, but the thing that you're saying that you don't want is the thing you will get.
Okay.
So I get what they're trying to say. Whether or not I think is a good thing to say is a different,
Let's just
it's a
count.
different kettle of fish.
Tops, load the clips.
Tops is not dark skin, by the way. So
Load
Yes,
the
I am
clip.
dark
maybe
skin.
she's taking offense to something. That,
Load
you
the
know,
clip, Tops. Load it.
Okay.
I agree with.
Is Tops light skin?
Tops is gonna
Tops
load
is not light skin. You people watch Candid Conversations, you know I'm not light skin.
Topsy is
That's what I'm
Tops
saying.
Is not
She's
like
she's
She's
dark
not
skin.
dark. She's not, I don't see
okay,
her as
but
dark.
I don't know why this become a conversation of whether or not she's light skin
I
or dark
mean,
skin.
like-
Let's
We're talking about colorism, innit?
yeah, but
let's join in.
It's not
Okay.
a good part of the conversation. So, you say what you thought was a problem. I understand what the issue is. I think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand, but I want to know what you think the issue is.
When I saw the tweet, I'm not gonna lie, and I quote tweeted it, I was actually genuinely like bothered by it. I genuinely was bothered by it because it was black women that were having this conversation, right?
Disappointed me. as
So
well, you know.
I was just bothered by it. So I quote tweeted and I was just like, this is not right. Like, our children, like, honestly deserve so much better than this. For you to say that these guys are a bunch of colorists, and I don't know if those men are, so I'm not going to say they are or they're
I want
not.
to see a light skin girl on the road.
Okay, I don't listen to this
That's
kind of
Wiley.
music, so I don't know. But for you to say that,
I rubbed my head the first time I heard that line. You know, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe he said that.
it's not that all that shocking. Anyway, so I
To
was
put
like,
it in a song.
I was just like, so for you to say God will get them back by giving them dark-skinned children,
Yeah.
that suggests, because again, we need to understand that words
Yes.
mean things. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
care what
yeah.
you think you meant. This is what your words mean, right? That is a punishment to them for being colorist. So I quote tweeted that, and then some people came in my mentions and were like, yep, agree, whatever. And then there were some people that were like, actually, no, I read it how you're saying that you read it, right? That these girls obviously are not saying that being dark skinned is a curse. And I'm like, I never said they said that. I'm reacting to what the tweet said, right? And what they are saying is that in order for them to learn to, because this is what one of the girls, not them, but another girl came into my mentions and was just like, what they mean is in order for them to learn to love or appreciate dark skin, they need to have, God will give them dark skinned children.
All right.
I was just like, what planet do you live on?
A lot of stuff like that happens in the Bible that you follow, you know.
No,
it doesn't happen in
that's
the Bible.
like
it happens in
saying
real life.
that's like saying, oh, a racist needs to have a biracial child, a black child, in order to start learning to love black people.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Is when people have daughters and they suddenly start saying, "Oh, I know how I should treat women better now because I got a daughter."
Those men were emotionally stunted anyway. Why do you need to have a child or a daughter for you to learn to respect women? You have a problem anyway.
You'd be so surprised how many men say that.
Yeah, that's
As
okay.
a father.
Listen,
Yeah, as a father, now that I've got a daughter, you know what I mean? I
that's
won't do
fine.
them things.
I mean,
let me branch off very slightly
It's
because
short-sighted,
just that thing you said about being emotionally stunted, not understanding this woman thing. I was watching a Netflix comedy. I just finished it.
What's the name?
Way here, let me get it. Oh man, just bear with me. I'll discuss it. It's by an Australian comedian. She's gay, or she's a lesbian, and it loads of different.
Same thing, bro.
Yeah, but I just wanted. I just.
I was just like, okay,
Just
same
let me
thing.
finish the thing. Anyways,
LGBT.
so she's a lesbian comedian of Australian or New Zealand. I can't remember. Sorry, which one it is.
Yeah, man.
And it's on Netflix. And loads of people have been saying you need to watch it. You need to watch it. Loads of different podcasts. Loads of recommendations. So I'm going to recommend it myself actually when I find it. And the first half, for me, it wasn't that, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't too funny. But everybody says like the second half just changes. Once it got to the second half, basically, it kind of changes from comedy. I don't want to spoil it, but she just starts explaining stuff about not feminism, about what it's like to be a woman, in particular a lesbian woman, in a society where they're chastised, not only women, but lesbian people as well, and gay people. So the way she put it, with the passion she put it, it just made me understand things a bit more.
Okay.
And it's not. I don't think that I'm not. It's not that I'm not aligned with women. I've got people like you that I can talk to. My sister. There are women I talk to, but sometimes it takes for things to happen a certain way for it to resonate with you personally. Whoever that person is, it just means they have to hear it a different way or have to feel it a different way. So as much as it sounds like it's bad for somebody to say, if you have a daughter, then you'll get it, or if you have a dark skinned person, then you'll get it. I'm not saying I co-sign that that's what you should do, but
Yeah, but some men are like, oh, they couldn't really understand. Like someone came onto my mentions as well and was saying that some men, for them to understand like the Me Too movement, for them to have daughters, and I'm like, you should be able to understand like what's wrong with sexual assault and rape without needing to have a daughter. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I get what you're saying because I understand. Like even me having a child has made me a bit more like, I don't know, like I'm not the most affectionate person, but since having a child, that's kind of helped me out with that. So I get it.
Let me give you an example. You were single at one point. And did you go out a lot when you were single and
I did,
carefree?
yes, I did.
So maybe one of your friends had children when you were, and they used to go out a lot. And then at some point it's like, oh, I can't go out. And it's like, well, you used to go out all the time. And then you can now relate to them saying that I'm tired or I can't.
Of course.
Where even though you understood before, oh, of course you're gonna be tired. You have a child. Or of course you can't get babysitting. You understood it, but it would have given you a twinge of a bit. Oh man, but come on, find somebody to look after the child.
Of course, but
whereas now you just get it.
Of course, because I have a child, but I feel like this is completely different to saying that a colorist should have a dark-skinned child in order to like ignite some sort of empathy. That is one problem, very problematic thing to say.
Oh dear, there's that word again.
Yes,
Problematic.
Yes. It's a very problematic thing to say, and it's also not effective, right? How many of us have grown up in situations or houses or families with very colorist members of our family? They have children. What they do is they project, right, these very anti-black ways of thinking onto their children.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily change it.
Doesn't change anything. You just have a dark-skinned child that you now think, oh my god, wait, can I swear?
Yeah.
You're just now thinking, oh shit, I have a dark-skinned child, and then that's why you have parents that will bleach their children's skin. You have pregnant women in some areas of the world who will drink things in order for their child to come out light. So it doesn't change anything at all for you. All that, the only people that suffer is the children.
Can I just say something? Do you remember the last couple of weeks ago when they was talking about the Maya Jama thing, and you was on Not Everyday Pod, and you heard was it Diane that was talking about
she got passionate.
She was passionate about them, or you wasn't. Maybe I was on it, but she was talking about how it was for her to be a dark skinned girl.
Oh,
and
okay.
You that is the darkest person in this room and darker than most. Yourself obviously you probably experienced colorist behavior in certain way.
Yes,
but when she spoke about it, that still made you feel different. So it made you hear something that you never thought you'd hear.
I went and told Deanne, because I know Deanne from the Not Everyday podcast, so shout you out. And like you said, she was so passionate about the Maya Jama tweet when she spoke about dark skin people. She was so passionate. She, you know, and it resonated with me, and it's like, wow. I feel it. Now, my wife is actually dark skin, and I asked her if she had any issues growing up.
I've never had anyone come for me with my dark skin.
I'm not coming for you, man. It's just like when people are not dark and they want to claim
She's
it.
dark skinned. There's just a ridiculous conversation.
Shades of dark, man.
Right. But anyway, so I when I spoke to my wife, and I was properly like, you know, is this something I've overlooked? Were there issues that you had and I've never really spoken to you about? And she said no, basically, that, you know, fortunately she was cool, you know, she didn't have those issues. So that was that. But it was just something where I thought, and then I spoke to my sister. It just got to the point, it's like, because I dealt with my issues when people insulted me, because everybody got insulted about something. So that's how I kind of balanced it out in my head. Everybody had something, apart from them super sweet boys that they weren't short, they weren't too tall, they weren't big, they weren't skinny. They were just right. They were the middle porridge, and it's like nobody could dub them about anything. They wore the nice clothes.
Some of them are dumb though still. Huh? Some of them are dumb though still.
But when you're in school, you could be dumb as long as you're good looking in it. Like so those are the ones that got away with it. But everybody else, you had big lips, you had big eyes, you had a big nose, you had dark skin, you had whatever it was, you had something. You were short,
that was wrong.
You had no nice clothes, or something happened, and you were gonna get insulted. So that was just my one. I was just dark. I wasn't fat. I wasn't short. I wasn't. You know, I was decent at the time. And that was my thing. So that's how I took it. So when I grew up, I didn't feel it like how I understand now. A lot of other people feel it.
Well, the experiences of dark black men and dark black women are very different.
And this is what I'm saying. Sometimes sometimes somebody needs to tell you, not because you could have told me that, and I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. But the way she put it was just different.
But
it's not like I never heard it before. I've heard it before.
People used to say this to me, innit? Or people even used to say it to Stav as well, but mostly me, I think. And people used to say to me, I wish you have a daughter. And I'm like, why? Because I always said I want boys first, or I want thingies first. And they're like, I wish you have a daughter. And I'm like, why would you wish that? And I was like, and they'll say, well, you know, because you always say that you want boys. And I said, but you as black women that constantly tell me how bad your life is as a black woman, why would I want to bring a black woman into this world that's gonna have all of this constant thing that's bad about it? Like, it's bad. You're telling me it's bad for you on a day-to-day basis. So I'm saying to you, you know what? I don't want to have a daughter that's gonna have to feel this. Why are you telling me that you want that for me? So it's almost the same thing that we were saying with regards to the skin thing. Some of the women was like taking it as to say that I don't want girls because I just don't want a girl. But I'm like, it's not because I don't want a girl. It's because I know how girls go through their life. And I don't know necessarily if I can handle the situation of knowing that my daughter might have to go through all of the stuff that all you women, every single woman is telling me they go through on a day-to-day basis. Boys go through a lot of shit, but the things that women were telling me they were going through was a lot. And I don't necessarily want a daughter to come into this world and have that. Maybe it might change, but
that's not why you want a boy.
It will.
Yeah, well, partially was
it. It will change.
Partially it was. It was because I didn't want them to go through the stress.
I wanted a boy first. I got a girl.
I wanted a boy first to help me look after the girl.
That was part of it. But
I mean, little boys, little girls, they go through stuff as well.
Yeah, but maybe because I'm a man and I can understand a bit more what he can go through and maybe guide him a bit easier than if I could guide my daughter. Maybe that's why. But I know that there's things that I've heard about that for women that you're not gonna hear about it much from a boy. Yeah. You're not going to hear about necessarily as much as some people telling you that their granddad was trying to ting with them when they were young, or their uncle tried to...
Yeah, but then we just assume that boys don't deal with these things as well.
I'm not saying that they
boys,
don't.
It's almost as if like we expect girls to talk about it and boys just don't.
But girls don't always talk about it they only talk about it to certain people. They don't talk about it to everyone. So boys do talk about certain things. So it does happen to boys. Boys do have they do get sexually molested. I'm not saying they don't, but I don't think it's on the same scale as women. I don't.
I don't know.
And I don't think it's the
stats that are
immediate.
The stats that are out there that girls it is higher, but that could also be because boys don't report it.
And the boys don't.
I don't know,
so when we do look at like the statistics for rape and sexual abuse and all the rest of it, women are generally higher, but that's because we are more likely to report it than men will.
Yeah, I think men would go with that, especially with the Catholic priest thing that's going on as well.
Yeah,
like them. You hear about it 50 years later and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that side.
Yeah, but but there's still young boys that are getting them abused.
I'm not really.
The women almost, I'd say that women encouraged. If this happens, let us know. Whereas the boys, nobody's telling that.
Okay, but there's a lot of people. Okay, I know a few people, and I don't think they've told anyone. I don't think they've told. Like, I think there'll be women. I don't think they've told.
I think there'll be women that don't report it. But I think when you scale it up, women, as we know, I believe they report it more than boys do.
I think we can assume that more women do get abused, but also more women do report as well.
abuse.
So I think we're both right. We don't have to or both sides are probably right.
But going back to the actual question itself, or going back to the topic,
Is it beef between Candid Conversations and the Gathering Pod?
why are you calling it?
You just want beef,
It's
innit?
like
No,
dramas.
look, when I see stuff on Twitter, I will give my comment like everybody else.
No, because they got it because somebody else retweeted it before you did. They cropped all the pictures together and they retweeted it. And
They retweeted what?
What they said.
Those 3 tweets that I read out.
Right.
They screenshot it,
Okay.
put it in one thing,
Yeah.
and then posted that.
Okay.
And people are coming at them, boy.
Yeah,
The thing is,
people.
the thing
people
is, it's
coming
like
at
I'm
them.
Why
not,
are they
I'm
coming
not,
up then, though?
I'm not saying that they feel that having dark-skinned children is a curse, right?
Amen.
I'm not saying that. I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know them. I'm not familiar with their platform. But my thing is that the way the discussion, it made it out as if dark-skinned children would be a punishment to those men that are colorists. Then that is how a lot of people read it. And when people were trying to engage with them to let them know, look, no one's talking about what your intentions were, right? Because I don't care what your intentions were. This is what we are reading, and that is how it reads, and this is how we see it. And then they were blocking people for having a difference of opinion. And I'm just like, that's why I didn't even bother to engage, because I just thought I'm not wasting my time.
You put a comma in the wrong place in the sentence means something completely different. That's
Like, just look, see what people are saying. For you to say that God will get them back by giving them dark-skinned children.
But the woman that actually said that didn't like. She didn't. I don't see where she responded at all. The person that actually wrote it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't follow either of the platforms, so I don't know.
I
But
don't think
she,
she
that,
did.
You can get people that write something and people misinterpret what you write. Innit?
of course.
Sometimes you just need to put your hands up and say, you know what, I can see that you guys are reading it from that point of view. Do you know what? Maybe I should have written it.
Do you know who sits next to you?
Listen,
Of course I do,
No, but you have to be aware that
sometimes
when
you
you're
gotta
on
put your
Twitter,
I have to be
some
aware
things-
that people are gonna cry about what they want to cry
No,
about.
it's
innit?
not
Let
about
them
crying.
Cry.
How can look
cry.
here on my timeline? The majority of people felt this way and read the tweet that
Because
way.
the type of people that are gonna respond, the type of person like me that saw it and then just moved on, is I saw both sides. I could see where people like you are coming from. I understand it completely, 100%, totally. I get it. I can see how it's read like that.
people like you.
I don't think
And
that's
I caught that as well.
I don't think that's how the person meant it.
I don't think so either.
So I just moved past.
But I'm not on Twitter, yeah, to try and decode what I think you meant. I'm going to go on what you said, right? And that is what you said. I don't care what you think I think you mean or whatever. This is what you said.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to react on. If that wasn't your intention, then say that. Don't start blocking people
Simple.
You know the thing I got about with
and
Twitter?
not wanting to engage
To
with
me,
people.
I find that quite simple.
Why would you? If that's genuinely what you didn't mean, then that's cool.
Me, Stavros, I'm just gonna stick up for the Gathering Pod because
It's
I
not
don't
about
want this
sticking-
smoke.
No. It's not
No
about
one's
sticking
throwing
up.
I
smoke or shade on there.
It's just how the tweet. Because the thing is, like from what I saw as well, they are very vocal about colorism, which is great.
They are
Do you know what I
very
mean?
much so.
So this was clearly like it's been in. It's
Like a
been
faux pas.
Yeah, I mean, you were having a conversation, and this is how people read it. If that's not what you meant, then you say, "Do you know what? This is not what we meant," and explain. But what I
they didn't
saw,
write it. I shouldn't have to defend.
but they
what somebody else-
co-signed. They co-signed the
With
tweet
the amen.
with the amen.
But the thing what I say about Twitter that makes me
It's always religion.
It makes me laugh a bit. Is a bit funny. Is the fact that
Let it be.
people write things on Twitter
That's what
in
I
an
mean.
open on an open forum. Twitter in an open forum where anybody seems to be able to respond. And when people respond, get annoyed that they get responses.
you get-
I don't get it.
No,
Yeah,
wait,
it's weird,
wait,
isn't it?
Why are you responding to what? You put
wait.
it out there for me to be able to respond. So
Yeah,
what do you
but
want
what
from
you
me?
have to understand is people who are in this space now only want other people that agree with them.
Right.
Yeah, that's foolish.
They don't want to.
Right.
There's not a desire to learn. There isn't a desire for debate. They just want people to just agree with them.
At
And
times,
the minute you don't do that, or in the minute you appear not to do that, then
And that's what Stavros does, right?
no, Stavros gets blocked. That's what
Yeah,
he does.
yeah, but he gets blocked because he doesn't agree with something, and he'll make it known, and then
But
they'll block him.
he's also a troll.
I'm not a troll.
What?
I'm not a troll. Why are you looking at me like that?
You're a blatant troll.
I'm
The
just
other
looking
day,
at you. I'm just looking at you.
you're a troll. You
I'm
said you
not
was a
a
troll the other day.
Yeah, I'm joking.
You said that like
my new thing is let
you
me
said
troll
that
in
like
peace.
Louis Spence, bruv.
Let me troll in peace.
The
That's
thing
my
is,
I'm not
with
a
Twitter,
troll.
I will go back and forth with people if I genuinely believe, right,
like
we're
she's
on the
69.
same level playing field, as in you genuinely want to have a discussion. If you're just trying to make me look stupid or trying to prove that you're right, rather than actually let's have a proper
That's
dialogue,
what I'm saying.
then we can do that. Do you know what I mean? But
I ain't got
if
time
I
for
feel
all
like I'm not gonna sit there and go back and forth with someone that just wants to be right, do you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Like if
You
we
did
can.
it with me.
When?
He just wants to be right. He just wants to be right.
But the exchange me and you had that day was cool. Like, I didn't agree with you, you didn't agree with me.
You and I.
And you and me, you and I.
I'm joking.
And we had a good conversation, and that was that.
It was
And
a
I've
candid
been on your
conversation.
pod twice. So but people will come in my mentions and they just want to perform for their followers, and I'm not going to do that. I am not going to do that.
We ain't got no followers.
Okay, so do people?
We ain't got no bit to pull for. We're just dancing for ourselves in the mirror.
It's true.
Just dancing for ourselves in the mirror. But
Okay, so do people perform for their followers then?
Of course they
I feel
do,
people
man.
do.
Do you know what? Personally, you know that I don't frequent Twitter as much as you, man, innit? And part of the reason is because of this bitchiness, bro.
No, okay,
it's a complete nonsense,
The timeline
man.
is
I'm
nonsense.
not buying. And it doesn't just happen on Twitter, you know. It happens on WhatsApp. So you'll be in a WhatsApp group and you're having a debate.
WhatsApp is a public forum.
No, like I'm talking about
like
debates.
massive,
Right, in
So-
like groups and
Yeah,
stuff.
so
Okay.
so you're in a group and then you're having a debate and you'll get people that want to ram their point down your throat without actually reasoning, you know, trying to get an understanding of the other point of view. And when people don't know how to have a proper conversation and a debate,
But this is just life, though,
mate,
innit?
I ain't got time.
Whether it's online,
yeah,
in
yeah,
real life,
it is life. But when I see it is in that form, I'll just back off.
I don't think Twitter's the right place to have a debate. I don't think it is, man.
It depends, because there are some people that I've been following for a while, and I know when they come in my mentions, it's going to be a nice conversation. And then there are some people who literally only ever come in my mentions to challenge, only ever interact with me for that, right? And if I'm bored, I might answer. But for me, I just feel like sometimes there are people that can be a bit performative on Twitter. But I mean, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't really take it too seriously.
Okay, let me just leave it then, because all right, some people are performative. That's cool.
I mean, we're all performative to some degree.
Yeah, because I know I want followers. I ain't
Yeah,
gonna lie
I
to
mean,
you.
we all are to some
That's why you
degree,
troll.
but then there are some that are more than others.
No, that's
But
not
you know,
Well, there's
my own
Who's-
tweets. I
who's this
want people to
guy?
follow me because of my own
Yeah, but
tweets.
the thing with you
Who's this
sometimes,
guy?
when I
Who's
see
this guy?
when I see you on Twitter, sometimes the times I watch you on Twitter, and I'm like, why are you having this conversation? In my head, I'm like, why are you having this conversation? It's like, but then I know who you are, so I suppose it's like it's in you. You cannot stop. Like, there's
I
times when I'm
like to debate. The reason we have this podcast is because
sometimes it's not even a debate thing. Sometimes people are minding their own business and you're coming from far to come and talk.
But you of your own, was it you that just said it's an open forum for people to talk?
Yeah, but
So you
I
can't-
don't
you can't
know.
have it both
Sometimes
ways,
I'm like-
innit?
it's like
I cannot go on
if
Twitter.
somebody doesn't know you, it can be seen to be antagonistic.
Yeah, it can be seen. This is where I come back, and this is where I say I'm you said it's not about defending, but this is why I'm defending it, and I say it can seem what you want it to seem. If that's not what the case is, then that's not the
But
case.
sometimes
no,
you
but
can,
in
you
this,
can believe
okay,
what
but
you
in
want to
this
believe.
scenario,
This is,
I'm really sorry. It was quite clear. I'm sorry. Like,
But I'm
we're
just
not
telling
going
you, I
to be
can see the other side,
decoding.
though.
No, but it was quite clear for you to make the statement, that God will get them back. What does that suggest? Get back.
It's
What
a
does that
punishment.
suggest? It's a punishment, right? That's what that suggests.
It's a
You
punitive
will be
measure.
punished with dark.
So
skin
God will get you back by giving you a dark-skinned child. That suggests that dark-skinned child is a punishment for your colorist ways.
What it should have said
That's
is
what you should go on.
God will teach them when their children come, or something like that. If you really want it to be like
No,
that,
but
or
let's not. I don't like the idea of
Yeah,
using
using
children.
children.
Yeah, but if
I
you're
don't-
going to use
and
children,
that's what
you wouldn't use it as a punishment. You would
No,
say,
but that's what bothered me with the tweet, right? Because you're using children as like some sort of like way, like I don't know, like it just rubbed me the wrong way, because I feel like these are children, these are human beings, they deserve to be loved, right? They deserve to be brought into the world where people love them. Why would you wish children on dark-skinned children on people
You say
who
hate
see
to them.
dark skin as some sort of like? I don't see why you would think that.
I just think they
think
didn't
think of it like that.
look at it that
Right,
way.
and then
And that's fine.
what you need to do is, when you've got like swarms of people coming into your mentions telling you that this is how we've seen it,
Then you say,
rather than
"My-
you, but do
yeah."
you know what? You're right, or maybe not. I'm not even right. We didn't mean
Yeah,
it
but
that
I'm
way.
not apologising out
I
there,
did not
man.
write it.
I would
So
not
why,
apologise.
if you're coming at me and I didn't write it, yes, you can say I co-signed it. That's cool, but you can't say don't do this. And I said, well, I didn't. So then, so
Well,
now
to
what?
them and to the lady who said it, I don't know. I didn't engage with anyone. I just said my tweet and I kept going, and then people kept coming into my mentions. No, that's not what they meant.
You just threw the fire and said, oh, sorry, why is this house burning? I didn't do nothing.
No. Then none of them atted me. I didn't at them. I just saw the tweet and I said my comment, and then people were coming in and agreeing, and then some people were like, actually no, this is actually what they meant.
But if
And
you
I'm like,
co-sign
that's
something,
cool.
you
but
gotta
if you
take some
co-sign
kind of
it, then you got to
responsibility,
take.
innit?
Thank you.
all right.
Can everyone stop blocking everyone? Can everyone stop getting shot?
Can I go into another topic?
Shot.
Please.
Before you do, because I actually want to finish with where it started from, where the root of the issue was Chip in a photo shoot. Well, a photo on a boat with about 7 women. One of them was black, maybe one was mixed race, I don't know. But there was one black woman, and then the issue was there should be more representation of black women in black artists' music videos, you know, or whatever. I don't know, photo shoots or whatever. Specifically, dark-skinned women as well. And
were they scantily clad?
yes,
Why?
they were in bikinis. They were on a boat in Miami.
They
in
looked
bikinis.
very lovely.
So the thing is, do we agree with that? That is a conversation that we can have as well. Do you feel that as an artist you have a duty to have as a black artist, a man, do you have the duty to say, all right, I'm gonna have women in my video, this is what's gonna happen, you know,
They
whatever.
don't care, bro.
I'm gonna have 20 or 30 women in my video.
They
do I
don't
need a quota? No,
care.
forget whether you care or not. Do you have a duty? Is it something that you should be cognizant of, or should you just say just bring whatever 20 chicks?
I'm kind of sitting here thinking why would I want to create a career path or platform that would want my black children to aspire to be naked side pieces.
But why do we
in a
always
video?
assume that a video girl is like some video hoe? Like, it doesn't have to be.
I didn't use any of those words.
I know, but what a lot of people were saying
Yeah.
was, why do you want to aspire to be like the video hoe in the video? Like, you know, with the not dress or like, it doesn't have to be like that. Like, there are a lot of videos these days that are not like that. Personally,
Name one.
I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. I'm just saying.
So
But
you're just tossing it out there, but you don't.
I'm just
actually
throwing
go
it.
with
I don't actually care.
They're all like that.
But I do feel on some level that when we're saying, like, if a casting director is calling out, oh, I want beautiful girls, a lot of the time they will look a certain way, right? And that does come back to the fact that there is a certain ideal that is pushed that doesn't include dark-skinned women. Now, whether that is something that I wish to fight for, probably not.
Yeah, this
But
is
it's just-
my thing. My thing is there's underrepresentation, but is it everywhere you want representation?
That's a good, yeah.
that's
And
my
we've
question.
we've discussed that on the show. And to be honest, I'm gonna fight for where I care for representation. Does it have to be everywhere? Well, no, because there are some platforms and there are some spaces that are just not created for people that look like me, and that's okay. Do you know what I mean? That is okay. But I'm gonna fight for it where I believe I should be there. And that's where I will focus my energy on. But I'm not gonna like shit on a woman who feels that she should be in those music videos. That's your cause and that's what you want.
Yeah.
Then that's for you.
That's my thing. I couldn't justify myself whether or not it's something that I want to fight for. Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, there's no dark skinned women in the video. Okay. I can see how that looks, but is this something that I really want to champion? Is this something that I really want to fight for?
But I think if you look at it on, sorry, I keep going.
No,
I think if
alright.
you look at it if you look at it too like shallow, then you can think, oh yeah, why do you care to just be in a video? But if you look at it deeper, it does come back to like, you know, the Eurocentric standard of beauty. It comes back to like what we see as beautiful. So it's not just about Chip's video. It's about how we view dark-skinned women in general. Like, we're not desired in that way. So we can take it away from the music videos and just look at it like, look at it a bit more deeply. And it's just about what we deem as beautiful, what we aspire to. And there is only ever one type of woman that is usually pushed. If it's a black woman, not too dark, but you have to be palatable. Like, you're not too dark, your hair's not too kinky.
Palatable.
I think
And that's problematic in a way. There's that word again.
Problematic. But my thing is this though. I don't have an issue with that in this space. I have an issue with that when we start going to the continent or we start going back to predominantly black countries where the music videos have non-black women in them. That's when I now have a problem. But over here in this where we are,
It's in Miami, innit?
yeah, like again. So then it's representative of the place where they are.
For me, it's like this, right?
I've been Miami many times, and there's black women there. So, because when I saw people say, "Oh, there's no black women in Miami," I was like, "There's black women in Miami, tons of them."
People were saying there's no black people in Miami.
That's what some of the people. That was some of the comeback.
okay.
Oh well, this is representation of what it is, isn't it? It's what's it? Latinx people there. Like, there's black women.
So,
all over.
so as I was saying,
Sorry.
for me, it's like this. Yeah, I don't feel like somebody has to go out of their way to represent, like their skin color or whatever. But I would think it's odd that you wouldn't. So I'm not saying it's a responsibility for the artist to make sure that there is a certain quota of black people in their video. Because if they don't want the black people in their video, that's up to them. And I always say that if you wanted to make something your platform, then you go out your way and do it. Same way that when I'm at work, I say to my boss, if when he says to me, "Are you okay with doing this thing?" I said, "Well, if I wasn't okay, I'll just quit and find another job somewhere else." Because in the end, I'm not the boss, so I have to do what you ask me to do or leave. In that situation, it's like that. But I would find it odd that you don't want somebody that looks like you to represent you.
It's not 100%.
Let me finish. So it's not a case of that. Again, like what Simple was saying with, I don't really want to see black girls being what we classified as video girls or whatever they are. If they're gonna be disrespected in the video, or what I feel to be disrespected in the video, I prefer not to see them doing that. But if that's what they actually want to do in their career path and whatnot, and that's where they want to go down, then fair enough, that's what they want to do. But if you're gonna have girls in your video, and I'm seeing you saying, nah, I don't want the dark skinned girl for reasons maybe like, I don't know, I don't think they look nice enough, or I don't find light skinned girls attractive and stuff like that. And yeah, I would find that to be very odd, and I wouldn't want to co-sign that type of.
But that's what the argument is, though. Yeah. That the reason why you're not seeing these women in the videos is because they're not seen
exactly
that way. So I don't, because the question was, is it their responsibility to make sure? That was the question. Is it their responsibility?
I don't think it is.
Boy,
it depends on how independent they are. How.
Well, he's, as I said in that, he's his own record label.
Wait,
probably his own money.
So he owns his own image rights and all that kind of stuff.
I don't know about that, but
I think
first of all, not every woman in a video is disrespected. Sometimes they are just a love interest, innit?
Exactly.
You understand? So if there's a few women that you see in a video and none of them are what your cousin looks like, your female cousin, your lady cousin, your mum or your sister, to me that is a little bit of a problem. And on top of that, could this be a generation thing?
Potentially.
I think that the younger that the artists are, come on, bruv. Yeah,
talk, man, talk.
The younger that the artists are, I think that may be more of an issue, because when you look at the more senior artists back in the day, I think that they had plenty of black women in their videos.
Yeah, they did.
Compared to the ones now. It's like when we were having a conversation about the young artists loving off England and the World Cup thing, I think it's quite similar, to be honest. Yeah, because the older artists, man, we're all about back home. We're all about Nigeria.
Things done changed.
Yeah, it changed. And as I said, to be honest,
listen, back in the day, if you go look at old school Ice-T videos and whatnot, Big Bottoms wasn't in. It was slim girls, many variants of black. And that's what it was.
There were varieties. There was a variety.
Yeah, now it's big bottoms and light skin.
It's that Kim K look. That's just what everybody wants to look like.
Arab, Latin thing.
I think when it comes to responsibility, I don't want to use the word and say it's their responsibility. I think it also depends on sort of how socially aware and conscious you are. And some of them just are not. They don't see it as their responsibility. They don't see it as a thing. But I think but for me, for example, with the Candid platform, we made it a thing that we wanted to make sure that we had dark-skinned women represented, and that was something that was very important to us. So I think it just comes down to your brand and what you care about, because I know a lot of people gave Stormzy praise when in one of his videos the love interest was a dark-skinned woman, and a lot of people were like, oh my god, this is great, because again, we're not used to seeing dark-skinned women as the love interest, or sort of in that
but he grew into that though, because obviously,
I mean, I'm not familiar with these grime artists, so I'm just going by what I see now. But again, is it something that I oh my god, really, really care about? No, but I see it and it's nice.
You know what? Sorry, go on.
I just feel that I believe they should be and they shouldn't in terms of being responsible. Where they shouldn't is that at the end of the day, it's not your responsibility. I don't believe you should idolize these people. They make music, they got popping, and that's it. It's not now all of a sudden that they're your god.
It makes a difference though.
And what do you mean?
The subliminal messages that
they're
not even in. To be honest, they're not subliminals. But when you constantly see a lighter skin or white person on TV, on Netflix, or in the cinema, it makes a big difference, bruv. So I have to me, I think that they have responsibility. Why are you doing that, bro?
I thought that was going to be quick, man, because I was going to do my...
Is that not quick?
No, I agree. To some degree, I feel like it's important that we are aware of these. We're aware of colorism, and we're aware of what it does to us as we grow up, and we're aware what it does to little children, to little girls, little guys. Because I know it's important for me, for my daughter, to see representation, not even just on TV, but in general. I know you want me to wrap up, but I think it's important.
No, I just want to finish.
I was only
halfway through.
Right. do I see that does she need to have representation in music videos? Maybe not. But I think it's nice when we do see it.
Okay. And
sorry, you can go on.
Thank you very much. And the other half where I do
Get the strap.
where I do feel that they should be responsible is if it's just that I do basically what you both just said, and I agree, but I can't put that on somebody else. If you get what I mean. If I was to make the music video, then I would do it. If I was an artist, if my boys were to do it, then I would expect them to do that, and I would encourage them to do it, and I'd coach them to do it.
Right, that's
but
nice.
because these people, some of them are very young, and they're not maybe
Not really. In their 30s, mate.
Chip is young, you know.
Chip is young. He's like 25.
Chip has been in the game for so long, but
25.
He's young.
That's the point.
He can't be that young.
Yeah,
I think he's 26.
Chip is so young.
Chip
is so young.
Let me have a look and see how old
He
he
can't
is.
be that
He's
young.
young. He started when he was 16.
But
Chip
anyway,
Munk is so young.
He just passed his 10-year anniversary, whatever.
Okay.
He's about 16.
That's great.
But the point is that I always feel that it's a father's duty to deal with the child, and the mother's duty to deal with the
Okay.
Well, in terms because we're talking about men. We're talking about men and what are their representation.
Get the
strap.
So it's me as a father.
27. It'll be 28 in November.
Okay, it's me as the man and the father to deal with that side of things in terms of my daughter. I should make sure that she knows she's beautiful, and
that doesn't always work though.
It might not always work.
If everyone else in the world,
point.
if everyone else in the world tells you that you're ugly, and the one person tells you that you're beautiful, that one person eventually is gonna get weighed down. But
All right, fair enough.
I think one of the things that I picked up on this situation is sometimes these artists just need to shut up. Like that's the thing that I got from this. Chipmunk should never have responded at all.
Right, what did he say?
He was he was just chatting rubbish, and I was just like, just why do you need to respond? You know your video's coming out. You know your video's gonna have black girls in it. Just respond with the video. When the video came out, everybody else chatting was like, oh, okay, he does have black girls in the video. Oh, sorry, this is a still picture. Done. Right? All he needed to do was let the video come out. What he didn't need to do is come out with responses that made it sound worse than it was in the first place.
Yeah, his response to the girl in his comments, that's I think what bothered me the most. I didn't really care for the picture, but his comments, like he had so much energy, and I'm like you just said, like you knew the video was coming out, you didn't really have to go like that because he was just sort of like, I'm black. What about my life? There's black, and it just this is the thing when we center.
He was high, man.
When we center colorism on desirability, it makes it seem as if like dark-skinned women are bitter and jealous.
That's what he was saying.
And the colorism debate never really goes beyond desirability. It just, men don't want us, and that's where we stay. And colorism is so much more than just being desired. So much more than that. But a lot of the time it gets centered on that, and that's how it gets easily dismissed.
He was using the trigger words, man, like jealous and you're this and you're angry, bitter people. Why you come?
It's like it's just a photo. Like basically, why are you so upset? Yeah, you're just what people looking to be angry. You're finding reasons. There's a black woman here. I'm black. My family's black. I'm a black person. Like, what's your problem? Why can't you just live with the picture? To be honest, I got both sides of it again.
Yeah, but maybe
this is my problem. Maybe I'm too good at understanding both sides. Maybe that's why.
I think sometimes you're just better to just say nothing. Sometimes you don't have to respond to people.
You don't have to.
When people chat rubbish, sometimes you do not have to respond because what they're doing is chatting rubbish. But they chat rubbish to themselves, and then eventually, when you come out of the video, they look like they're chatting.
But
dumb.
most of the people didn't think she was chatting rubbish
until they saw the video.
They might. At the end of the day, there were still only three black women.
There's enough.
Out of what?
And they were all dark skinned as well.
About 7. But there was like he had basically it was him and Red, right? It's his song with him.
There were 4 dark
skinned
skinned girls in that video. There was a girl that was sitting on the boat, and then there was
she dark skinned or just black?
She was dark skinned.
Okay, all right. And then
why
a bunch
are
of
you
girls
looking
that
at
were
her for?
dancing.
Yeah, girls dancing.
Basically,
3 black girls dancing.
There was only 2 scenes. There's a scene where he's either on the boat or on the dock, and that's the one where that's where he took the picture with let's say the 7 Latinx women and the 1 black woman. I'm just gonna leave her as black. I don't know. I can't remember if she was dark or not. And then there's a whole separate thing where these 3 women they're dressed like they're going carnival or something, or it's like a mini soca setup kind of thing.
Yeah. Nothing
major, no feathers and everything, but just and they're dancing, and that's it. They're on the grass somewhere else. The men are not in that shot. They could have added that after.
Potentially,
they could have added because it seemed completely foreign to the rest of the video.
I very much doubt they added it after.
I just want to add my own little spice in it.
Are you going to another topic, or can I go into something?
Go on.
Go into your topic, bruv.
Go on, but hurry up, man, because we've still got tons.
No, because we were talking about there was so much stuff we talked about before the podcast that we were going to bring onto the podcast and didn't.
Go on.
So one of the things we were talking about was what you need to ask before you can do things and going forward. And I thought that was a good conversation still.
Get the strap.
All right, so we was talking to the Tops, and she was alluding to the fact that she may like to get another tattoo. Yeah?
Yep.
And we asked the question, well, you know, if you just got a tattoo, because you said that you may have got it somewhere overseas or something like that, if I remember rightly. And then Stav asked, you know, you wouldn't even, you know, ask your husband.
I hate when he talks on my behalf.
Say the thing then.
Every time I hear him talks on my behalf.
Say it then.
I said, would you ask your husband?
What did I say that was so dramatically wrong?
You wouldn't even ask your husband?
No, that's not what I said.
We got it on tape.
What I actually said was, what I said was this. I said what I actually said was this.
Do the rewind.
So what? What? Would you ask your husband?
No.
Okay,
No,
when you go back, you hear it.
Let him do it.
When
then.
you hear
Go
it, you
on.
hear it. You hear it. But that's what I said anyway.
Go on. Anyway, so
that's what I said.
So I asked, would you ask your husband?
Yeah.
And Tops said, so I don't want to talk to you. What did you say, Tops?
No.
Right. So then there was a discussion about, you know, what we would and wouldn't ask our partners.
I said she was a bad wife.
Ooh.
Do you laugh again?
No, I can't do it on command. But I didn't say she's a bad wife. I think she's fantastic from what I see from the outside. It's just,
I'm bloody great, mate.
you know what I'm saying? I'm glad she got
I
that.
like that.
She likes it, man. She's confident in herself.
But there's a lot of questions that will come with this type of situation. And one of the things that Top said was, it's my body. I should do what I want with it. It doesn't necessarily concern the
All
man
right.
in that way.
Let's just rewind. Right.
What did you say?
Oh, you
I
see, it's
wouldn't-
not good when he talks on your behalf. is
No,
it?
we could talk. I wouldn't ask permission to get a tattoo,
Yes.
but I've told him numerous occasions I want to get one, and that's it. The conversation doesn't go like, is it okay? It's I'm going to get one. So I was in Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and we wanted to go to the tattoo shop, and for whatever reason, our timings just didn't work out, and I couldn't get it done. But had I had the time,
Your husband wasn't there. Was he there?
nope.
So yeah, because you're going when you say we, it sounds like
I meant me and the girls basically,
Alright, okay.
and we were gonna go.
Yeah, and the other
she
girls.
left him at home
The
with
other
the child.
girls.
No, he
and
was in
wanted to-
Ibiza,
and
mate.
wanted to go.
No, he was living
See
it
it
up
there?
in
Damn it.
Ibiza.
See it there?
Damn
You
it.
see it
There we
there?
go.
Well, your
Also
issue,
looking to
well,
get
no,
tattooed.
but it was the way that you said it. You said, wouldn't you ask? And Tops is saying, no, I will tell him. I will let him know.
And it shouldn't be a problem because it's your body. And I asked, so if he went and got nipple rings,
Why are you
without
going
telling
to
you?
the extreme
No,
with
there's
like a
nothing wrong
nipple
with that.
ring?
He
bruv?
might want a nipple ring.
All right,
I mean,
well, if it's a
what does he want a
discussion,
nipple ring for?
Would that be,
It's
and that was her
erogenous.
response. What does he want that for?
It's
and
erogenous.
Tops, what was your response?
What do you-
Related to you and your husband having various tattoos.
Because he has tattoos
That's what I'm
and
saying.
I have them, so it's not something out of the ordinary. It's not like me asking, I don't know, like it's not something weird.
Is a
I'm
nipple ring
saying-
weird? Is that what you're saying about all our
I
listeners
mean-
that have nipple rings?
No, but for him, I'd be a bit like,
Well,
why are you getting a nipple ring?
All right. So when did it get to the point where we
'Cause it's my
start
body and I
asking the
want it.
questions? When does it get to a point where you have to really, really take into consideration what you're doing with your body when it involves another person?
Me as a husband, I ask my wife,
As a husband.
I'll tell her. I ask her, man. My body is now part of her. So
Oh, yeah,
what
there's that.
What
yeah.
I'm doing with myself is I'm gonna square it with her first. It's similar when if I was to go out and spend a big chunk of money, even if it was my money, because it's our money,
okay.
I would still square it with my wife. Everything, significant things and things that are gonna be on my body for the rest of my life. So this is not just something. If it was a part-time tattoo, I don't know if they have it, and it's there for a month or something,
Part-time tattoo.
and it's gonna
Temporary.
Hey, no.
Yeah, but-
temporary
but
tattoo, and it's gonna disappear in a month. Then I don't need to
Yeah,
talk to
but
her. I have to be
this
out
is
with the
different
boys.
though, because
Can it
because
be-
with reference to them, they have tattoos. They do this. This is a normal thing, innit? No. Because if you have a partner and both of you are addicted to getting tattoos and you've got various tattoos on your body, it doesn't need to be that. It doesn't even need to be a conversation
about.
about.
If I had tattoos and my wife met me with tattoos, I have no tattoos. But there's the one tattoo that I thought of getting was my older brother who's passed on. We've discussed it before. He had his he could draw. He was an artist, and he did this art thing of himself where he had like a half face in a not that one. He had a half face in a like a Superman. You know the Superman shape.
Yeah.
What the S is inside,
Yeah.
but his face was in it. And I've thought for years since he's passed of having that on my back, but massive. Now, I don't think my wife would be cool with having my brother's dead face massively on my back.
This is what I'm saying. So
If I was ever gonna follow through that, which I'm not gonna because I doubt I'd ever do it, but if I would definitely ask her, this is what I'm thinking of doing.
fine.
Because
I
it's
assume she would say-
significant.
Hold on,
Because it's
hold on.
significant.
No, but what if
it's
she?
a big deal.
Yeah, but what if they both get tattoos all the time and
Yeah,
then
but with
what
them
if-
two, it's not a big deal.
What if they both get
Jeez,
tattoos all the
man.
time and then Tops decided she wanted to go and get her ex's name put on her chest?
God, why
Okay,
are you
first of all,
taking
I
it to
wouldn't-
the
what
extreme?
you
bro?
lo-
That's
you-
No,
No,
you've done it. You've done it now because you
No, but
get
this
tattoos
is-
all the time.
No, but
You
this
get
is
tattoos all the time. It's not a problem.
That's so odd.
No problem.
We're proper dealing in extremes here.
Come on,
I'm
bro.
not gonna get my
Kule
ex's,
on the chest.
I'm not gonna get my ex's tattooed, my ex's name tattooed on me. That's just
That's a
dumb.
disrespect,
Like, why would
bruv.
you even do
You
that?
like the name?
Why would I ever do that?
What I want to
You
know,
like the name?
down there.
what I want to know, Stavros, has the wife sanctioned your breasts?
No, she told me I must get rid of my breasts.
But I think with this, yeah, because like a bit like what you're saying,
You
really,
took it left there. You took it
a
left.
bit of stuff like this now. My missus has got really, really long hair, yeah,
Yeah.
almost as long as
I
Simples.
can help you, you know.
Almost as long as Simples. It might even be almost at
No,
the
don't
same
try
level
it.
now.
No,
It goes right down to the ash now.
No.
All right, so she's got really, really long locks.
Look at this. It's not as long
Well,
as mine.
he's been growing it for longer, so
I'm 5'11".
His ones is down to his calf, bruv.
it's not that
It's down to your calf, man.
Just underneath the
Okay, so it's
Timber.
long. It's long, but anyway, she's got very, very long locks. Yeah,
Dreadlock envy.
innit? She's got very, very long locks.
It's
yeah?
hard work,
And I
man.
met her with dreadlocks. That's how I met her. That's how she's got them.
Chop, chop,
Now,
swing, swing.
there's times when she's saying to me, I need to get rid of these bloody things. Not like to get it off completely, but because they're so long, sometimes they get in the way when she sleeps and it gives her headaches and stuff like that. She's like, I might need to cut them, I might need to cut them.
I've heard you've wrapped yourself up in when you're sleeping, innit? That you end up you're sleeping on top of it. She trying to get up and you're
Yeah, that happens quite often.
like,
It comes quite often. There's times when she'll turn around too quickly and I'll get one in the eye. It's bare things. But yeah, so
You deserve it.
if she came back, even though she says it, and she says it all the time, if she came back tomorrow with all her hair chopped off, I'll be looking at her, are you a mad person? You actually went to go and do it without telling me that exact day that's gonna happen. You just come home with hair gone. I'll be thinking, nah, you cannot do that. I met you like this, yeah? If you wanna do this drastic change, then you need to at least let me know and let me decide, whether or not I have some voice in this situation.
Yeah, I agree.
On that
drastic
front, that
changes.
makes sense,
Yes.
bruv.
Tattoo's the same for me.
Hair
If you got a tattoo,
no,
I might leave my woman.
No.
Hair
For
grows
you,
back.
it's the same. For you, it's the same because a tattoo is a big deal in it.
Yes.
It's not something that you do, not something that you expect your woman to do.
I don't
innit?
like tattoo.
You understand? So if tomorrow she come with a tattoo of Big Wahala on her arm or something like that, you understand what I'm saying? You will grin and show them Colgates, innit?
I will say to her, what are you doing?
But you will still
Then I
ask
pack my bags
questions.
and leave.
Exactly. But if
But I don't like tattoo.
but if it's something that you do, I don't know.
And we've had conversations about it before.
Candy conversation.
Yeah, we've had candid
Plug.
conversations
Plug.
before, so it's not a thing. Look, like, okay, there was one time I was toying with the idea of cutting all my hair off. Like, just wanted to literally start all over again. And that's a conversation I had with him. I was like, I really do feel like I just want to cut all my hair off and just start again. And we had that conversation. So it wasn't necessarily me asking permission, but it was more like, okay, how would you feel about it, kind of thing.
And if
So-
if you like you really wanted to do it and he said he wouldn't want to, he wouldn't want you to, what would you have done?
I think I probably would have held off doing it if he had a strong, like, I don't want you to do it. But eventually, I would do it.
So
She's just delaying it.
what's the point in delaying it? Why don't you just do it?
Because she wants to get used to
No,
it.
because the thing is, I had to explain the reasons as to why I wanted to do it. So I feel like eventually I'm a reasonable person and he's a reasonable guy. So it's not like I'm having a midlife crisis. I was trying to cut all my
that
hair
sounds
off.
so good, you know.
It's-
I mean, it's things that people may take for granted, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not like, oh, I'm having
reasonable people.
I'm
man.
not having a midlife crisis. I just want to cut all my hair off. Like, I genuinely felt like, I'm tired of my hair. I really want to just, if I explained it, and he was just like, eventually, at first he was just like, okay, no. But then when we had a conversation, I thought, like, this is something I really want to do, and these are the
And then
reasons
he
why.
thought it makes sense.
And he thought it made sense.
Let me say something, yeah, because
Well-
you both said something that is I like to just dwell on. Twitter or any type of social media,
Twitter.
makes you feel like reasonable people do not exist anymore.
And that's why I don't go on there.
It's like
Cut them off.
if your world is a social media world, you would think that reasonable people do not exist anymore.
And that is why when people say stuff like, oh, I would never cook for a man before I go out with him, or I would never pay for a date before she gives me this, and I say, you people are just living in social media. You can't be like living like this in the real world, because clearly if you meet somebody that's sensible, then you could do these things with a sensible person. I agree you shouldn't do it with somebody that's going to take advantage of you. But you meet and assess somebody first. It shouldn't just be blanket rule that I'm not going to do this.
Well,
I'm not going to, and that's what it seems like. It's just the
It
extremes.
goes back to the thing with the kneeling thing. If you feel like the person is not somebody that's gonna make you feel secure enough to kneel for them, or you always say this thing on a podcast all the time. I don't know if you've ever heard Staff say this. Tops. He says that he serves his wife.
Yeah,
I serve her.
your tweet, I really liked
I
it.
serve her this. I serve her that. and she serves me this, she serves me that.
Yeah.
Bang. But
What is your problem with a man?
I
agree with that,
I
bro.
am her servant.
Yes,
Coming
Let him be that.
coming out of the bedroom with his pant on, with his serving tray.
singlet.
I don't really care about that, but
Frank Butcher style.
did it? But
With the stew stain.
of course, standard. But it's like he always says he serves his wife. He says, and I think men serve their wife all the time, and I don't think people say it.
See,
Men don't
'cause
say
I don't
it.
like him talking on my behalf because I say I'm a servant to my wife.
Whatever you do, man.
Oh, that's so
Whatever
sweet.
you do in
I
your
love
pant.
that.
But
That's
the way it should be.
lovely.
And that's what all these guys do too, whether they say it or not.
yeah, of course I am. You see me?
So why you when I say
Because
it?
when you say it, it just sounds so rubbish. I was like, what kind of woman are you serving? I don't serve this woman.
I'm a
I
servant.
aid her.
I'm a servant.
Yeah, that's
I
nice.
aid her through her life.
But that's my job as a
and she
husband.
aids me through
It's
mine.
good. There's no like you don't need to front. That's your husband. That's your wife. Like I don't see why
I'm
we
not
need to
married
like
yet.
pretend.
I don't front in it. That's
No,
the point.
I'm just saying in general when people are just like I wouldn't do this, but it's just like well, I
If you
mean,
want to do
but
something
I
for your
think
partner, I don't get why they're your
young
partner.
people would do that. That's the
well,
thing.
let's not paint all young people with. Although to be
I'm-
fair, I do classify myself as a young person, but let's not paint them us all with the same brush. And
think-
also, you have control over who you follow as well. To be fair, so
Yeah, that's true. 'Cause
You know.
if you follow nonsense
you have
is going to
control
follow you
over
back.
that. Like I have control over my timeline. So if I don't want to see
Yeah,
something,
but
then
it's
I
more
won't
fun
see it.
is like talking to the
No, I do have a sprinkle of nonsense just to keep a nice balance.
Balance.
But at the same
Balance.
time, too
Siaga.
much of a bad thing, too much of that can get a lot.
It's like watching the news, isn't it? There's too much negative news can make you feel like the world is a negative place and only a negative
Yeah,
place.
I've only recently just started blocking people. I never blocked anyone before.
I'm upset with you.
Why?
It's because you're popular now. Okay, I get it now. You have to stop.
Until maybe just very recently have I actually started to block people. I never blocked people before.
I wonder if it's ever gonna get to the stage where I have to block people.
Boy,
You won't care.
yeah, I was
No,
thinking
because if somebody's like, if you open up your Twitter thing and then it's
it's
like you
pure
have
abuse.
700 comments and 600 of them is abuse from 5 people, they might be like, I don't like these 5 people need to get out of my life.
You know-
Because I want to see what the other 100
Do you
people
know
are saying.
what? Do you know what I learned from being on Candid Conversation? Because I don't used to read YouTube comments because I'm not doing anything on YouTube. But now I'm starting to read the comments because I'm on some of these shows.
Yeah.
These people are
It's
horrible
more
people.
vicious than Twitter.
They're horrible.
Yeah,
Much
yeah,
more
they
vicious
are,
than
You
Twitter.
too.
It shows you that the world is very
They are.
horrible and people
Yeah.
say very horrible things. And if you are the type of person that is very sensitive, those comments can make you turn into a mad person.
Yeah.
Like I see people just saying like proper horrible, spiteful things on purpose, knowing that if the person reads it, they're gonna be.
They're gonna feel
Yeah.
away.
They're gonna feel away
I've had some horrible comments on YouTube.
about yourself.
Horrible. Yeah, some general about the cast, and then some have been directed
Personal.
at me.
I only wrote a couple of them.
I had one shot. I only had one shot of me in this one that I've seen so far.
What was the
anyway.
show? What was the show?
What they see?
No, they said that.
What
I
they say?
could have said that a lot of the people in New Orleans, like their cultural, things that they do, comes from Africa. Like,
Yeah.
you go into heritage, and apparently I'm stupid for saying that. Somebody else, somebody else,
stupid
somebody
boy.
else was arguing on my behalf. I just left it. I read it. I
Yeah,
laughed.
but that's the funny thing though. People will come in and fight on your behalf.
Yeah,
So we have people. So the only thing is that I don't like to police our comments and stuff, but the really horrible ones I will remove. Like, there's no need to be calling us monkeys and apes and all that other nonsense. Like, it's just does. We don't need that kind
You
of stuff.
take it off.
Yep, the really spiteful
And I
ones.
think that's
I
a
will
good
take
thing to
off.
do.
Okay, well, if we had a video, all right.
There's some really racially charged comments that we get. You just don't. People don't see them because I remove them. There's some
But
very.
then shouldn't
I'm not going to approve a comment of somebody calling you like a dark skinned ape. I'm not going to
No,
Oh,
approve them kind of comment.
people
That's
shouldn't say
horrible.
Why are you putting it out there?
if we had a video platform, let's say we recorded this thing, we uploaded it, and then would you think that we should leave it open, or would you have it so that you
I'd
approve
say
it,
that
or
we-
would you delete that stuff?
Anything that's bad about you, I'll keep. Anything else, I'll remove.
let's be. I want to know because I want to move on quickly. We ain't got much time.
I don't see the point of keeping racial comments on there for people to see. We know that people in society around the world are racist, man. Why do we have to keep it on?
not
our-
everybody. 'Cause
Well, I know,
Timothy from Candid Conversations clearly didn't know.
bruv.
What, Thomas?
I don't care what anybody
Cuthbert.
thinks within themselves.
Tarquin.
I don't care what they say. People know that the world is full of racism, bruv. So, and us as black folks,
I don't want.
I don't want it on.
I wouldn't
want it on. Bruv.
I wouldn't keep somebody just put in a comment that just says you black apes. I would remove that. If somebody said something, if somebody had an actual conversation type figure there, like you black people are this and this is why you blah blah blah, I might leave that. But if somebody just comes and says you black apes,
Yeah.
well,
Like,
what-
like
what-
some
simple,
of, like some
simple.
of the comments were literally about like they named some of the girls.
You're women. I understand you doing that. Anyways, these are boys. I'm not
You
expecting
women.
that from. I said
You're not
you are
expecting
women.
So you expect what?
To be sensitive, innit?
No, it's not about being sensitive.
Well,
Because I don't
exactly
care
what
what
it's about.
No, it's not.
You
It's
do
not
care.
about
Otherwise,
what
you
is the
wouldn't
point.
delete. Please.
You
Tops,
might not care,
you're
but
se-
the
you're
people that they're talking about might though.
Right, and I feel like it's part. Not only am I the host, but I'm also the exact. I feel like part of that
So then
is
you
they
care.
don't need to see. Of course, I care. I don't want them reading that kind of stuff. They understand that not everyone would agree with their opinions, and that's fine. And the ladies are very strong in what they believe in, and they're a beautiful bunch of women. But at the same time, I'm not going to approve because there's some comments you actually have to approve. I'm not going to approve of racially horrific, like a horrible comment.
Why
I'm not
put
gonna
that into your
approve
life?
it.
Okay.
Why?
Why put that into your life?
It's got nothing to do with being sensitive.
Because that's what somebody. This
It's
is
got
what
nothing
But
to do-
so what?
It's about censorship.
No, but
And I feel-
censorship. Sometimes you need it, like because sometimes we're just saying now about the representation and responsibility for certain things and putting out things into your nature and having positive things in your life. Sometimes there's negative things that need to come to your life,
Yeah.
and sometimes they don't. And somebody coming on YouTube who's usually a pussy or that's not even going to show you who they are in the first place, to come and call you a black ape, they can fuck off. Sorry, sister, I know you don't like me swearing, but they can. There's no reasons for them to be
I just
there.
don't like the
okay.
idea of you making out because we're women. It's not. It's got nothing to do
I'm-
with that.
I'm being flippant.
I'm sure she
Right,
blocked
so
some
let's
comments
just-
about me
I'm
as well.
quickly trying to fob you off so that I can talk. I can ask Simple
Well,
Simon.
I'm happy I got that in. Continue.
All right. So Tops.
You do realize
Stop
that
trying to silence
these
women.
things are.
Stop trying to silence black women.
You do realize that they are illegal as well. Like they're actually against the law, and they can be charged for these kind of
Well,
things.
if you
innit?
delete it, then
And-
it can't
and-
be. innit?
Yeah, well, that's my thing.
They get
like,
blocked
like,
and deleted.
and-
don't
and-
think you can come onto our platform and chat shit. It's not going to happen.
That shit get banged.
That's what I mean. And you might have family members that may come on and read the post, and they may not like it. Like my mum may come on the YouTube and look at it, and she
That
might
happened
not
to
like
me.
it, bro.
That happened to me on online one time.
That's what I'm saying.
One of
like,
my cousins called me from another country to tell me because he was upset on my behalf because somebody was saying something bad about me,
That's what I mean.
like properly upset.
Ain't got nothing to do with being sensitive, bro.
Simple.
And calm down as well, bro.
If the page and the video is for
You're the sensitive one.
I just want to get because we're going to be done. I've got 100 other things I want to talk about.
Okay, sorry.
if the page and the video was for business, then I can totally understand why you would remove these type of trash comments.
It's not for business. I've told you what the thing is, man.
Yeah,
Would
but
you do it or not? You're in control. You have the decision. Would you delete comments such as ape? Just getting called an ape.
Yeah, I probably would.
So it's just me that will just leave the things.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
You're
Cool.
used to
Move
that
on.
type of comment.
Cool.
God damn it.
Man said you're used to that type of comment.
See?
Fucking hell, bro. You
If
can't
I can take it from my brother, I can take it from a stranger, innit?
Racism is, you know.
And what if it happens 50 times? You block them.
No. What on YouTube? No, because I don't have to read everything on YouTube, innit? It's not Twitter.
it doesn't even it's not even conducive to the comments underneath. It just then people are just talking about the person calling somebody. It's just long. Anyway, but go on to the next topic.
All right. This is a listener question. Why do we like to group Afrobeats as African?
I don't understand that question.
I don't understand it too. But
Afrobeats.
Is this
as-
one of the
As African.
is this one of the quick fire questions?
yeah, please, because I got other things.
There
I
was
want
some
to
more interesting ones there.
I would say that it's because he's an African.
What's wrong with you, bro?
No, I just answer it quickly then, innit? That's the
No,
thing.
but
why-
whenever I'm talking, you're doing this. Oh my god, bruv, just relax, man.
Every time you want to speed something up, you slow it down. Have you
No,
ever
don't-
noticed that?
Well, that
Have you
is
ever
me,
noticed that?
bruv. But that's me then, innit? So you expect me
two-
for
you
being
have,
me?
You would have an argument with him
Flipping
to
heck.
speed it up, yeah? Or you just gonna have your
No, I let Tops was talking.
God damn, man.
Tops was talking.
Maybe I should just shut up then.
Tops was talking.
You know you're older than him. You know you can slap him.
That's
and
what I'm
it's
saying. You
legit.
should respect your elders, bruv.
Tops was talking. The age gap between me and him is less than between me and you.
Yeah, but you like to bring it against me.
Tops,
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of question is that? Afrobeats. Why do we call it African?
It's of African descent.
I mean,
this was that's exactly what they wrote. Why do we like to group Afrobeats as African?
Well, I think maybe.
we're going to discuss it.
I think.
Sorry.
Yes,
Bruh.
he wanted to discuss it.
I think maybe isn't it to do with the fact that a lot of what we have identified as being Afrobeats comes primarily from 2 to 3 places on the West Coast. That's not really representative of all of Africa.
Potentially.
can
Okay,
you-
so he's taking it in another place. Fair enough, but
Can you add meat to that? I don't quite get what you're
So what we know as Afrobeats now,
He's a divisionist.
if we were to call up the people who contribute to Afrobeats at the moment, you would see that there's a high correlation between them being West African,
well, it used to.
one of 3 countries.
What we need to
Okay,
understand is that it used to
okay.
be different things because it used to be split into different areas. So you used to have what they called Niger Jams,
Yeah.
which was this Nigerian artists,
Yeah,
Niger
yeah.
Jams. Then you had Hip Life or High Life,
High
for, the
Life,
Ghanaians,
yeah.
for the Ghanaians. And then the Congolese had whatever they used to call their music. I forgot what they called their music, but they had a certain name for their music as
saying?
well.
High life and Nigeria.
So then it's kind of like merged in. And what Afrobeat actually is, because people need to understand, is what Fella used to do. That is what Afrobeats is. The original Afrobeats is what Fella's music, and that's what he used to call his music, Afrobeat. Yeah. Then people now have come and grouped other things into Afrobeats and made everything Afrobeats.
I think they called it Afro pop now. Some people
call it Afro pop,
Afro swirl.
Yeah, there's all this madness. But
I think
Afrobeat,
Wizkid, because he's such a Fella fan, he took on the moniker of Afrobeats.
No. The person that actually started but the person that actually started making it Afrobeats or made it a big thing was actually a Brandy. He's the one that started calling everything Afrobeats, and then suddenly it was Afrobeats.
Really?
Yeah. A Brandy
sure
was the
about
big person that was the first person that was popular, pushing it out as Afrobeats.
No, yeah,
so
he
mixing the
pushed it out,
Ghanaian,
but he
mixing the
didn't
Nigerian.
But he didn't create the genre.
I said
the name.
Did you say the genre?
Genre.
Tops, laugh at
Oh,
the
cool. The genre, yeah.
Genre, allow me.
I was just like, what?
Turn me around and show me your tenor. Let me look at your tenor.
He didn't necessarily create the genre, but he is the one that pushed
I swear they
the
call
different,
it
the different
in other
genres
countries.
into the one genre. I was calling it Afrobeats in a large scale. The genre.
They call it genre in other
The
countries.
genre podcast.
So allow it.
Okay. Quick things.
Congolese things, the genre.
All right, the Eagles' greatest hits has overtaken Michael Jackson Thriller as the
And
most
so?
sold album in the US.
I'm not accepting this.
You people in America, because it's American charts. You people in America, open up your Spotify, open up your Apple Music, and get streaming Thriller, because this can't happen. What they did is they rejigged the system somehow, because apparently, like, Michael Jackson had many millions more than the Eagles, and somehow something got tweaked. I don't know what got tweaked, but once it got tweaked, it's like, oh, the Eagles is now above Michael Jackson.
But the thing that I have a problem with regard to this is that it's apples and pear comparison. So the Eagles is the greatest hits between 1971 and 1975, and they're comparing that to just the Thriller album.
That's because the album is an album. So yes, they will compare it.
Yeah, but greatest hits.
Yeah, album is an album.
Is it
No,
album?
you can't do that, man.
You can, because it's an album, compilation album. That's what it's called. But I don't know why everybody cares.
You're taking the peak of every
Because Michael Jackson
between 1971
Yeah, I
and
get what
75. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I get what you're saying.
an artist can grow so much in that period and that time. You put all of the bangers on there.
Greatest hits is always going to sell because they're
The
greatest
man
hits,
is
isn't it?
dead. Why are you caring for something that he himself can't care about?
What about Blanket?
What about Blanket? Which
Is
one
that a daughter's name?
Yeah, his name Blanket.
Yeah, what about Blanket?
and
I don't care about
Princess?
Blanket.
And Prince.
Right, okay then.
When they is real children, I'll care about them.
All right, so these are the quick ones before I
Goddamn
get to.
47.
All right, did you hear about the Tinder prank date thing?
No.
Yeah, it was a bit wild.
No.
Oh yeah, that long thing where the man went to the place and there was all these people.
Yeah. All right, so remember that video that went viral a few years ago, where it wasn't a few years ago because we were recording the second season at the time, so it would have been last year, where that woman was walking through New York. She was shapely, and apparently it was like a minute video, and you just saw, "What's up, baby? Oh, you looking good?"
Cat calling.
Yeah, cat calling thing, and
Yeah.
they were displaying how much a woman walked down the street and got catcalled.
Yeah.
The person that arranged or organized or videoed that thing went onto Tinder and decided to do some sort of case study. So he requested a lot of women to pretend to be one person and to ask men to go on a date. And then he got a real model who he joined in, and they used her face. So basically, she now was asking for, I think it went into the hundreds of people to meet me at wherever, 25th and 7th for some outdoor concert. I want to see this DJ, and this is where we'll have our first Tinder date.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So once they were there was X amount of men there. There was a stage. This woman comes onto the stage. Comes out of a limousine with bodyguards and people looking. Oh, that's the girl. She walks onto the stage with a microphone saying, "I'm the one that invited you all out here. You're all here as my Tinder date." And then, and this is the mad thing. Yeah, because it was it's an experiment. I'm putting it in brackets. Everybody that's under 5'10" can leave. Everybody that's boarding, you can go.
Bye.
Yeah. Everybody that's got a bit of weight on them, rack off. Yeah.
Okay.
Started getting rid of basically all these stipulations.
You should have gone at the boarding stage, but keep going.
And then the people that actually, because there were some people because basically now it turned into, it's a competition to have a real date with me, and you have to basically earn this date with me amongst all these other men that are here. So now she started making them do sit-ups and press-ups and stuff.
Queen. What a queen.
And they did it. So this man he organised it all. But end of the day, these people passed the test, and she picked one, and they went on date. She didn't feel him, and after all of that, she didn't even like him. But what do you think about this? What do you think about this experiment? He saw it as an experiment. What he was trying to say is that he thinks it's disgraceful that people go on Tinder and can just swipe left and right and pick somebody based upon basically nothing. So even to the point where when she was just dismissing people, she wanted people to understand what it felt like in real life, just to say, oh, they're under 5'10". I mean, go. Oh, they're balding. Go. Oh, you're like, you don't get to know the person. It's like, it's very superficial. And he feels that he doesn't like this new form of social media dating.
You got a woman?
I don't know. What do you think about it, the situation that happened? Do you think, would you have stayed as a man if you were in that situation? Do you think she was they were being irresponsible by doing stuff like that? Do you think? Well, I heard she's what did you call her, a boss, or what did you call her?
Queen.
A queen.
A queen, man.
Well, let me hear from you. What are you co-signing what she did?
I mean,
you actually look like the gif where the guy goes. Nobody can see it, but
she knows what she wants, innit? She doesn't want men that are a particular height, and
Big
she
up
doesn't.
gangster.
So it's just like, well, then that's what she wants. That's what she wants. And these men all stayed, yeah. After she told certain men to go.
Yeah. They were doing press up. They were doing the competition.
Then what's the problem?
She whittled it down to one person.
So what's the problem? They all They stayed and did the trials or whatever she like.
Game of
Hunger
Thrones,
Games.
boy.
Yeah,
Hunger
they stayed.
Games.
So what? So why should that queen?
I think that's what you
She's
likened
the
it to.
queen. They stayed.
I would have thrown a weapon in there.
She's a model.
There's nothing wrong with people having like certain requirements for their partner because it's just you and that person. So if I want a certain if I want my man to look a certain way, there's nothing wrong with that.
She got rid of all men named Jimmy. shout out Swagger. She said because it's a name she dislikes. So anyone that's called Jimmy, you can leave.
Okay.
I think that's just.
Yeah, but what's wrong with that?
I mean, that's a bit far to be fair.
That's
No, but what's wrong with
if you look exactly how I want
Yes,
my man
but
to
it's-
look.
She made them race as well.
It's experiment, isn't it? That's
Not
the whole
just
point.
push-ups,
Yeah,
though.
she's trying to show how ridiculous it is.
Who knows what Jimmy done to her?
You know, but it's trying to show how
What did Jimmy
ridiculous
do?
it is for somebody to pick you like that. That's what they're doing, isn't it? Because you don't know the person. You see the person's name is Jimmy. I'm swiping right or left or whatever.
Yeah, but you've also got to acknowledge that a lot of relationships have come from Tinder and all these social media things, innit?
Of
Indeed,
course.
indeed.
A lot of people got married and happily married.
Yeah,
So-
my manager met her boyfriend on one of these things.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't see the
people
big
act
deal,
like,
man.
People act like you're forced to be on these
That's
things,
what I'm
bro. Like
saying.
it's not that deep. You you have to download the app and register. Like you don't. It's not just pre-built on your phone.
Get the strap.
Like it's not just pre-built. Like you have to
Like
actually
YouTube, you know?
go on to.
You have to volunteer
You
yourself.
have to, yeah. So I don't like these things exist,
I
but
volunteer
you
as
choose
tribute.
whether you engage with these things or not.
I
Like
don't
so,
understand.
you can go out and meet people the traditional way, or you can go onto Tinder. It's up to you.
I've never done social media. Sorry, not social. What's it called?
It is social
Online
media
dating?
Online dating.
Online dating.
I would-
You kind of have.
No.
You done social media dating then?
Oh yes, tell us.
Well, social media dating is a lot different than online dating.
I had women on social
had
media.
women?
Yes, plural. I had women on social media request my
Time.
time,
Oh, that's nice.
and I gave it to them.
Oh,
Only my time. Even my wife I met on social media.
so what's the problem?
Yeah, but it wasn't swiping left and right. It wasn't.
Yeah,
It
but
It
wasn't.
might
It
as well
wasn't.
have been.
It wasn't. What do you call it? What's the?
Instead of swiping left and
Online
right,
dating.
what we had was like, date.
Those app thingies are fun. Like some of my single friends, and I'm like, oh, let me have a go. And then, oh, nope, swipes. Oh, that's a nice one. And then
So
you
your
sort of
husband
like,
will allow you to even touch these apps.
I was picking for my friend.
See, that's
I can pick for your friend.
That's the point of what the guy's
Yeah.
trying to say. Like, the
I was
person,
just- I
you're
was
not
just like,
even
let me-
picking,
I
you're not
was
even picking
just-
yourself.
I was like, let me have a go. And then I thought, like,
that
one
that's
thing I
kinda
will
like
say
proved the
though,
point.
that there is barely any black men. Like literally for every 20 guys, you'll get maybe one.
Well,
black
there's
guy.
there's
Yeah,
a-
but you
there's-
think these apps are for black people? They're not for
No,
black
of course
people.
not.
there's an app that will be coming out soon. So the big app is called AfriClick.
I don't know.
So you can do a web search for that, and they're building an app, and it is specifically for
Black folks.
BAME,
Oh,
I
okay.
think, or
That's
yes,
nice.
yeah. So AfriClick. So if you are in that field and you're looking, then check that out. I don't think it's been created yet, but the woman, it's a woman that's creating the app. She is in the process of doing it, and I think it's just a few weeks away from being launched. So let's move to the next thing.
What country is she in?
She's from the UK.
Is that the one that we met? I think we met. Anyway, we didn't meet at the podcast thing.
I think we might have done.
Yeah,
Actually.
we did.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Just, the only thing I remember from that podcast thing is that Simple Simon should never, ever do the like the what do we call it?
Networking.
Networking, yeah, is poor.
I'm the worst.
Okay, you're not network.
I'm
He can't-
trash.
He can't talk.
He can. He
He's like,
just doesn't
if
want
he
to.
met you, he would have been like, "My name is Simple Simon.
What's the name of the event
What are
again?
you doing?
I'm from ESN podcast."
Are you really that bad?
Oh my god.
He was
I'm trash.
terrible.
I'm trash, man.
So say something like, "So how's your podcast?" It's okay. What do you like to talk about?
It's no problem. It's no problem.
Things. We talk about things.
Like what?
That's me.
Couple things.
That's
That's how
me.
he was, man. I was
That's
like,
me, man.
Oh,
This
that's
is, you know why? You know why?
it's a sweet.
You know why
one.
he's like that? Exactly, because he's good looking. He's never had to get away. He's never had to have no game. He's just had to go on his talk.
It's nothing to do.
I mean,
with
sorry,
that.
in his face.
You know what it is?
My face is my passport.
I
Why
have
do I
a-
need to talk?
I have
Jump
a-
in my bed. What's wrong with you?
I have a problem with small talk. Like,
Oh, you get uncomfortable with small talk.
Yeah,
yeah,
I just have a
it was
podcast.
terrible.
I'm just
I don't
on a
like
podcast every week, but I have a problem.
Yeah,
with
it was
small talk.
terrible. I can't believe how
Man.
bad it was. I was like,
Yeah.
how bad?
The
I'm
thing
not
is,
this guy in my life.
I honestly hate small talk, but I'm good at it.
do you know what? Do you know why I hate it though? It's because when I talk to somebody, it's because I genuinely am interested in them.
Right, right.
And this small talk, networking, dialogue, I don't give a shit about
Bruv,
you.
I'm
really.
the same as you, man. I'm not good
I
at it.
No,
think when
don't
you
ever
work
say
when
that
you work in the corporate world, you kind of have to.
I
Like,
work in the corporate world. That's what makes it even worse.
But do you deal with like clients?
Yours
and
is
stuff?
a different
She
kind of
assumed
corporate
that you didn't work in the corporate world because you have dreadlocks.
Yeah, I know.
She did? Oh, we're gonna do that thing where we speak for people.
Yes.
He does it all the time. And he's
the
always
strap.
Serena Williams has been banned from wearing her black catsuit at the French Open. What do we think about that?
I think
Why?
Because it is. There's
Isn't
a
it
word.
provocative?
No. There's a word he said. He said it can no longer be accepted. This is the person, Bernard Goledicini, or whatever his name is.
She wore it at the last one.
She's the president of the French Tennis Federation. Yeah, she wore it at the 2018 French Open.
Yeah.
And so he's saying that she's not allowed to wear that at the next Open because I believe we have sometimes gone too far. You have to respect the game and the place.
He's a career pussy.
They're just idiots, man. They're just hating on her, man.
Yeah.
I don't
think
actually understand
the way,
what that
the way
means.
they treat Serena.
It's horrible.
It's really bad. It's
It's obviously
He's-
down to
he's-
her being successful.
No,
and
no.
down to her-
His argument. Check this. His argument is about the garment being figure hugging
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, they have the skirt
Yeah,
that
but-
flap in the air
but
all over the
this
place.
is what I was gonna say. They
It's straight up racism, man.
they flipping throw shade on her in all kinds of aspects.
You-
And when you look at the flipping skirts that some of these women wear,
Do you
they're so
remember-
tight.
What's
and
the
then,
what's the one
you
that used to
know,
work model for Adidas? 1-0. What's her name?
Sharapova,
I know, Anna Kournikova.
Anna Kournikova.
The whole thing about Anna Kournikova is that she used to wear short skirts.
Yeah,
And that was her thing.
You know, there's obviously a certain look that the women go for, and sometimes they look. Excuse me, but sometimes they look
She
sexy.
did something different and she's black.
That's
simple
X her
things.
out. It's simple.
And the thing about it is, it's for medical reasons she did it as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because she
Yeah.
suffers from blood clots.
Yeah. So the
But I love, she did an interview and they asked her about it, and I just love her. She just has so much class and grace, and she handles it so well. But you can know that she deals with a lot.
She said
Yeah.
that
She handles it so well.
So this person that's the head of the French Tennis Federation, she said, "Oh, well, I've discussed it with him. I understand where he's coming from. He's the head. If that's not what he wants, next year I'll wear something different.
Yeah.
If," and she said this, she added on at the end, like we said, she said it was for health reasons. She said, if he knew it was for health reasons, I'm sure he wouldn't have said that. But end of the day, he's made his decision now, and I can find an alternative.
Yeah,
way
she said
to
that
deal
she's
with it.
looked into other things that can help with her blood clots, and then she made a comment saying that how
blood clot.
she said that you don't want to like something about you don't want to like make fashion mistakes, something like that. So she
I
handles
think
it.
she was
quite,
trying to say that the impression I got from what she said was that basically you don't want to wear the same thing twice.
Yeah.
As a lady, you don't
so
repeat
she-
yourself anyway.
So she made light of it,
Exactly.
but she
Grace.
has been quite open and vocal about what because she's the most tested.
Yeah, she gets
athlete.
tested more than anybody else.
Like she gets tested all the time, so I feel like, but despite all of that, she's still the greatest athlete we've ever seen. So despite all of this, she still manages to perform at such a level that has never been seen. So
I had that.
You know, what I learned today. Well, just from looking at that article, at Wimbledon, you have to wear white.
Yeah,
You didn't know that all this time.
I didn't
So
know
did
that
it
was-
did it never occur to you why everyone was dressed in white?
I don't watch enough tennis for that
right.
to be a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because only the.
There was a debate the other day
I
about
will watch a match here and a match there. That's
Right.
somebody was saying that what's this woman's name?
Oh, shit.
What's the MMA girl? Ronda Rousey is the most decorated or the most best female athlete of all time.
Why?
Because of all of her medals and stuff. In judo, she's got a lot of medals, and then she went to UFC and she won the championship there, and then she won another championship. And now, the thing that made me laugh, I said, "Are you actually taking the piss?" Is the reason why they're saying this is because she's WWE champion. That's not even a fucking sport.
It is.
Like, how can you say somebody went to go and do wrestling, one wrestling, and you're adding that on top of her accolades?
Right.
Because people watch it.
Tops gave the white silence there, boy. Right.
Could there be a Benny Hill in 2018?
What is Benny Hill?
That's the question I asked. Yes. Why would you keep that there?
Because
skip the question.
What's Benny Hill?
You don't know Benny Hill?
Benny. Oh, who is?
Benny Hill is basically Benny Hill used to be a program where
that's the music, brother.
Older white gentlemen without speech used to just basically most of the program chase around young girls wearing bikinis, and that was it. In fast pace.
He had a lot of comedy sketches. It wasn't just about
2018.
A lot of it was.
You see what's so weird?
It's funny though.
You see what's so weird? You said immediately that's not going to work in 2018. Yet we have Big Brother on Love Island, which is basically
you just said
whoring.
some random man chasing women in bikinis.
This was different.
Yeah.
The man was a perverted man just running around chasing.
Of course, you just said it's a man chasing women in bikinis. That's not going to
It
work.
was imagine the Chappelle show. So this was
Again,
an earlier
Chappelle's
version
kind
of
of
that.
comedy back in the day would not work today.
Chappelle show.
I mean, it does, but I mean, that's because that's him. A new comedian couldn't come out and start doing the jokes that Dave Chappelle does.
Probably agreed with that.
Okay, but this one was worse. Anyway,
Big up Yums TV.
I just want you to understand that,
Okay, I should actually laugh.
that it was a sketch show.
You know you would have laughed. Don't even try it.
Which one's
No, I'm not laughing at his failed attempt at that disgusting skit.
Yeah,
I'm
you're laughing
at
at the fact I said big
at
up
the
Yums
fact-
TV.
yeah.
Don't worry, it's cool. It's cool.
Okay, I just want, because for our younger listeners who don't know who Benny Hill is, it was a sketch show similar to Dave Chappelle thing, but a lot of it was silence. In fact, I think most of it was he didn't talk a lot.
It's Benny Hill and Carry On I was talking about as both of them.
But carry on. I reckon they maybe. But a lot of our audience won't even know. But basically, he would. Yes, a lot of the sketches were him as a man, a middle-aged man, dealing with, touching, interacting with very young women in next to nothing.
So could the Carry On films happen as well?
That's what you just said still. But anyway, sweat. Keep going. The Alzheimer's is going to hit him.
Did a man say? Oh, I love it, man. He said Alzheimer's is going to hit him.
No, you know what? Sorry, I was researching something.
So okay, I'll give you one quick sketch. This is something I could say that you could hear. He's a doctor. He's standing outside the doctor's office, and all his patients are coming out, and it's men, and they're all rubbing their arm. One man, two man, three man, four man. The last person's a woman. She comes out. She's rubbing her bum, and he's laughing.
That's Benny Hill.
That's Benny Hill.
It's not going to work in 2018.
No, it's not gonna
that
work
question
in
doesn't need to be
2018.
spoken about at all, man. Let's skip
But
that.
that actually is interesting though, that about comedy in general. Like just off of, I know this is going to be a completely new topic, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Again.
But what you were saying about Yoms, like
Right.
this whole week, and we asked the question whether in comedy should there be anything that's off limits?
Yeah, and I think a lot of comedians find it very difficult to say yes. Like, big up people like Griff, because Griff says, you know what, it's hard to say things are off limit. There are things that you shouldn't do, but if it's funny, it's funny. And I put it in that voice because that's how he speaks, man, like Griff from
I say
Essex.
if you can finesse it well enough, then you can do it.
Yeah, same
But
thing
do
like
you
Travis
think
said.
do you think there's anything that should be off limits?
Pedophilia.
The thing about it is a joke. A joke isn't about the subject matter. It's about a mechanism.
The execution.
And it's about having your audience identify the clever that you're trying to expose, rather than the actual subject matter. If that makes sense.
Right.
So if you have the right mechanism, you can use it in any subject matter, and you will. The best jokes are the ones that have you caught in the crosshairs between feeling bad that you're laughing about this thing,
Right.
but also seeing the fact that this thing is actually so funny that you will laugh at it, even though it's so bad.
So like the Yoms one, he was talking basically in the Yoms video, just to put clarification because people that haven't seen it.
Who is Yoms?
Yoms
What does
is
he do?
Yoms is an online comedian. He does small clips, maybe about a minute long, where he's playing a character himself, I believe, and things happen to him. Usually it's him and his girlfriend does something really bad to him. Then he plays some particular music in the background.
Usually gets embarrassed by the end of the
Plays some particular music
the
in the background.
always has
Exactly.
me,
Yeah, man. and then when the music in the background happens, you can hear the badness happen. So there was times when, he might be with his girlfriend and then his girlfriend's talking to his friend, and then suddenly the friend and the girlfriend are talking about sex that they've done in the past that he never knew about, and then the music will kick in and stuff like that. So bad things always happen to him. So in this particular one, he was in prison. What I'd like to note is that he actually said that, you know, this rape case was worth it. So he obviously was in prison for something to do with rape.
Yeah, he said, "Wow, I don't have to, you know, pay rent. You know, I got food. Wow, this rape case was worth it."
Yeah. So he said that, and then what happened was, a next man appears behind him.
He's in the shower and he drops the soap.
Yeah, he drops soap. Next man appears behind him and starts washing his back and kisses his back, I believe, as well. Yep. And then rapes him.
You don't see that, do you?
Yeah.
You see him kiss?
Yeah.
That's why a lot of man's that's why there was two people coming out twofold. One, because why are you doing that behavior? And two, because he got raped by the man. So he got raped by a man in the prison. And obviously he was making a joke of the rape. Yeah.
No, the thing is, you need to be quite clear. In the video, there's the motion of him being raped.
Yeah. And he's making light of the joke of the rape.
When I saw the video, because I saw the commotion after he'd taken the video down, right?
Yeah, so me too.
So I went on Twitter and I was just thinking, I think maybe our people are just like, because again, me, I don't feel like there should be anything off limits, to be honest. I feel like it's fair game. Like, as long as you're someone who can execute the joke well, and you also got to consider your audience, whatever. But when I saw the video, I was just like, literally was just like, oh, what the hell? Like,
a little OTT in it.
I was just like, what on earth? Like, I don't know. At what point did nobody stop and think?
That is what I thought.
No one thought, guys, maybe this is not the right idea.
It be your own brethren that let you put
and then
yourself in that predicament.
it was his response afterwards that was even worse.
Yeah,
what did he say? What did he do?
He was just chatting rubbish.
He was just like, management have said, basically the video was reported. Yeah. And it had to be taken down. And then he said, management have said we've got to take the video down because it might affect our money. And then he was like, sorry to all those that enjoyed the video.
Yeah, so basically, it wasn't just getting it because of the rape thing.
That was a dig.
Because they were saying that some people said he took it down because his man were getting at him.
About his sexuality.
Because he looked gay in the video. Because the next man's kissing him in the video. So that also was one attack that he was getting. And stuff like that, but that was the one that seemed to affect him more than the rape one. He was because he was responding more about the gay thing than he was talking about the rape thing.
But I saw him tweet. He was like, "I don't care what man them think about my sexuality."
Yeah, he was responding more to that.
Don't. But anyway, now last night he put up a video of him basically apologizing. So clearly he's been spoken to, because any PR person worth their salt would have spoken to him and said, right, you need to sit down on that chair now, you're saying this. Because he was so like, I don't care, blah, blah. The video was distasteful, it was disgusting. It just wasn't funny.
And it goes back to what I was saying, that sometimes you just have to just say nothing.
It just wasn't funny at all.
So I haven't seen the video, but from what your description you're giving now,
I can show it to you when we finish recording.
He made a joke about going into prison because he raped somebody.
Yes.
And then he got raped himself.
Yes. And it was a bit. This is what makes it so funny, because it kind of links back to what we were saying earlier. I think he put that. This is me making an assumption, people. Before I'm not yumps, yeah. I think he put the fact that he got raped. I mean that he raped somebody as a part of the joke, because then he now got his comeuppance by getting raped in prison. I think he added that bit to make it seem like, I was a rapist, so somebody raped me. It's like a cycle, a bit like when the girl said that. When you're gonna have dark-skinned children as punishment, he was getting raped as his punishment for being a rapist. I think that's what he was trying to do.
Everything is just too
stupid. I was coming somewhere close to that.
Distasteful.
My thing was, he said it was worth it. I'm looking at the dialogue here, yeah, because the dialogue here I think is probably more important than the stuff that you see on screen. So he said that it was worth it because he's not having to pay rent, blah 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 blah. But that statement is one that shows that you have removed yourself from the action, the responsibility and the action. Now it's happened to him. What was his response to it happening to him? Was there any commentary there?
So first of all, once he dropped the soap, he was like, it's so hard to get my back. The dude came up and said, brother, let me help you with your back there. And he's like, yeah man, thanks. And the man starts scrubbing his back. He's like, you got soft hands, something like that, innit? Yeah.
Hold on.
Exactly.
He's a fool.
And then the guy starts kissing him on the back, and he's just like, bro, like, you know. And then the music goes boom. And then he puts him on the wall, and then there's the actual motion of him being raped. And I'm just like,
and then his eyes kind of roll back in his
his eyes roll.
It kind of looked like he enjoyed it.
He was enjoying it. Yeah, that's how it looked.
I wasn't sure if he
Yoms was like, do I enjoy this or not? That's what his face looked like, as if like, oh, I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
It was a very uncomfortable watch.
The reason why I'm asking what I'm asking because I thought this could have been a point of good political.
It was trying to be a joke thing.
Okay, so he missed it.
But this is the thing, yeah, because people were uproar about this, but then some people did come to his defense, and some people did come up with valid points. Some people were saying, do you remember in Boondocks, and there was the thing about the Booty Warriors, and there was a whole episode about people getting raped in jail, and people find it the most hilarious episode.
Yeah, because it was funny.
Yeah, exactly. Dave Chappelle makes blatant rape jokes about the rape man, the one that goes around and rapes, and blah blah blah. You know, he does so much good in the world, but he rapes. So he gets away with it.
That's completely.
But that's
different.
what I was saying.
But people find that funny. It's about rape.
That's completely.
But that's what I was saying about no topics being because we spoke about this in our group chat, and then some of the girls put in.
Invite me in the group chat. Innit?
No, thank you. And then some of the girls put in YouTube videos of some comedians like back in the day who would make similar jokes. But we were watching it, we're like, but this is fun. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's funny though. Like, at the end, it's a serious topic, and yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, but there are jokes that are along those lines, and they're funny. His video just wasn't funny. It was distasteful. There was nothing funny about it.
It's 2018 got to a point now where we just have to change everything that we.
I just hate the whole PC thing.
Yeah, that we thought was okay.
Red tape and everything. It's just annoying, bro. You can't call women.
No, you can't call them females.
Sorry.
You can call them women.
Apparently, we learned that you can say female,
man.
but it depends on the context and the vim
Depends
you have
on how
behind it.
I'm tired, man. Why? I'm showing my age as well. It's like, it's too much, man.
We watched a video just a minute ago where
Let's talk.
Where they was talking about one guy that was on WWF, and he was doing the vignette.
That was
whatever.
the king.
King Jerry Lawler, and he basically was
King
saying,
Lawler,
you know, you're this, you're that, you're blah blah blah, and he must have said, you know, you're dressed up like a fag, and blah blah blah. And even the caption in the tweet that came out said, if they ever put this out now, or if this ever came out now, they will burn the WWE to the ground. Yep. And it's true. Like, there's so much things that was okay. If you listen to Raw, Eddie Murphy Raw and Delirious, and
I love Eddie Murphy Raw.
The amount of gay jokes he makes in that that thing could never fly now.
Times have changed. People have got more sensitive.
Never fly.
You know, end of the day, the things that were cool 20 years ago are not so cool now, and there's things
but
that
they're
were
right
cool
to be sensitive
40 years ago that were not cool 20 years ago. So,
but they're right to be sensitive about it.
It depends, because 50 years ago you could walk around and say, "Boy, get me this." A white man would walk around and say, "Boy, do that."
It's like on the UK Gold television channels,
to an older black man, and he was and that would be acceptable.
Let's use somebody like Roy Chubby Brown.
Who?
Roy Chubby Brown's a racist comedian. He's a white man. He makes a lot of racial jokes.
Enough of all this.
Okay, but I'm talking to the people in the room. So he talks about a lot of racist jokes, and he says a lot of racist things in his jokes against Asians, blacks, everyone that's not white.
But he's cancelled now, isn't
it? But there's nothing. At one point, he was one of the biggest artists one of the biggest comedians in the UK.
He was touring all over the place.
Well,
by the way,
huh?
Before Benny Hill was cancelled. So when you said would it be acceptable in 2018, the actual answer is no, because he got cancelled. He actually got cancelled. There was a point where everyone said you can't do that anymore, and he got stopped, and that's why Benny Hill ceased to exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so like I said, the UK Gold TV programs, a lot of them were
racist. But I'm saying
racist.
We found them
Love
racist.
Thy Neighbor, Afghan.
Yeah, we found them racist.
And
were we sensitive when we were saying to them that you can't have this no more?
We never said you can't have this no more. We just said it was racist.
I enjoyed them programs. Ooh. Up to today, I can watch an episode.
You are Clayton Bigsby. For me, it's the same reason when somebody calls you an ape on YouTube and I leave it there, or I can watch the comedy and I don't care enough about you for it to thingy. You're not putting it. Earlier on, Tops, Miss on her phone, when I said that there was somebody
you can see I'm doing both things at the same time. Yeah.
Okay. Just when I said earlier on that there's somebody I wouldn't want beef with because I'd have to hide my wife and child. Mm-hmm. That's when now all of a sudden something would mean something to me if it's really going to affect my family. But somebody doing a comedy, and I'm not saying it might not have a wider effect. Right. Comments on YouTube might have a wider effect. So we had a group on Facebook, and we moderated it. And if you allow things to get toxic, then it just remains. Then the environment now becomes toxic. So you could have a stream of comments on your YouTube, and it's healthy debate and conversation about the discussion that you're having. And if you allow trolls or people that have derogatory or racist comments, all of a sudden, instead of having a healthy conversation, it can turn into another thing. Exactly. So don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't understand.
You just didn't want to say you understood at that time.
No, I get it.
You made it out like the fact that we would delete it.
No, but I wouldn't. No, I'm still saying I wouldn't do it. But you would.
But you understand why?
Yeah, I understand why. I understand why. So I understand all of this.
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
It's just I am just not that type of person. I'm just the type of person where I like, innit?
Okay.
I'm confused.
Don't.
So when we had the Facebook group,
That was different. That was a debate group. It wasn't me putting a YouTube there. I'm not moderating a YouTube comments.
No.
the
I'm not
comment section-
moderating
Anybody
it.
got time for that?
But
Go on.
I'm not moderating it. But the point is that if you're commenting and it has absolutely nothing to do with what's actually being discussed in the video, and you're just coming to just spew racist hate and just nasty, I'm not gonna have that comment. What is the need? If I have control, I can actually remove that. I will do it.
Yes.
Sunlight bleaches. If you keep things in the shadows, it grows.
Okay.
Was there any comments about me?
It will make no difference.
No.
Bruv. Like racism will
But if there was a
always be
comment
there,
that I
bruv.
felt that was that didn't need to be there, that was about you, I would have removed it.
would you have consulted them first or just removed
Would
it?
I have consulted him? No.
Just let me
It's
know
her
it's there.
platform,
innit?
innit?
She is
It's-
exec
It's
producer.
not just my I just feel like there are just certain things
Just
that
let me
just
know
don't
it's
need
there
to be there.
and the name in it.
All right,
I'll find them in the comments somewhere. Innit?
we are
Big
done.
thing.
I'll be honest with you, Tops. I respect what you're doing with Candid Conversations.
Thank you.
I think I see where you're going with it, and I think it's nice that we have a platform that has a balanced UK opinion and view. Yeah, and I think more power to you, definitely.
Thank you.
I'm glad
I
it's,
would-
it's growing and growing and well
Thank
done,
you.
well done. We are very happy for our not so dark skinned sisters to succeed in whatever they're doing, man. I love this, and we pointed out the other day. There's a bunch of this young crop of black women that are just
You're doing it, man.
bits.
And
A lot of
Nigerians
them,
as
a lot
well.
of them are Nigerian as well. Just so happens, boy, what can I
Yeah.
say? But I don't want to be, it was segregationist or whatever the word is. I don't want to segregate. So there's a big crop of black young British women doing their bit. So like I said, the Afroclick app person is a black woman. The person in the Candid Conversations, the executive producer, the creator, black women. There's people that the girls on Radio 1 now.
The
Receipts podcast.
2 out of 3.
Just making moves. What's 2 out of 3?
Well, there's one of them is not black, is he?
Okay, yeah,
Understand.
sorry. Okay, all right. So women of color,
Yeah.
they're just doing bits.
I hate that term.
I do as well, but all right.
Women with color?
Do fill in another term.
Women with color?
I just don't like the term.
Yeah, okay.
women of
Ethnics.
colour.
What's the
Ethnics
other
are doing
term?
bits.
I don't know.
Would ethnics be cool?
You can do whatever you like, but I would never be referred to as a woman of color.
Okay.
Black woman.
Immigrant.
I'm a black woman.
All right.
Man said immigrant. But yeah, but going back to the point, because we don't want to go away that point. They're doing bits, and yeah, man, I appreciate all the stuff that you're doing for yourselves and for everyone around you as well. Because the more your platform, brings light to other black creators, it's more to it.
And can I say something? This is Stavros speaking. I am learning month by month. I'm learning, having dialogue with all of you. I'm learning, and what I want to talk about on behalf of other men is that maybe they're not so willing to learn as I am, and I don't want you to. Sometimes it's very easy to be in your own world and think that everybody should understand. So there was something that Mr. Wolf said earlier on, and he's like, of course they know. And it's like, not everybody knows. And I say it every week, not everybody knows, not everybody can empathize with you, not everybody's been in your situation, not everyone understands. So there are times where you might get frustrated at men. They should know this. They should know this. But for whatever reason, whether they're dumb or they're just not in that world or whatever it is, or they're just not empathetic, they might not know. So I'm not telling you that you have to stress your hair out, and pull your hair out trying to debate everybody in the world. But what you're doing is teaching people. Me included. I am learning day in and day because I'm with a woman that doesn't cry as much as you women. So you ones that are crying,
You always
actually,
have to just spoil
Really?
it.
Yeah, you do. You
I'm
spoil it
sat
there.
here listening to you thinking, wow, this is a nice way to round up the conversation. And then you-
I'm just learning a lot. I'm learning a
Okay.
lot. But like I said, let me not add that last bit.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot.
No,
And
I appreciate that.
You're learning other
Let's-
avenues from other women.
Right. I
Yes.
appreciate that because the good thing about the platforms that are coming up is that like it is giving us a voice, and also people need to give people like the opportunity to make mistakes and give room for mistakes, because people just think it's so easy to decide you want to do a podcast, you want to do a show. Like, we're going to make mistakes. People are not going to get things right, but you need to give people room to do that, because that's how we grow. Because there is this cancel culture where as soon as somebody does something wrong, that's it, right? That's it, out the window. And that's not how life works. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like with every episode, with every podcast, like with everyone you do, you get better and you take on the criticism. But we need to give ourselves time as well to grow, because I feel like sometimes we don't. And people start stuff, and because they don't want to go with the criticism or they don't want the backlash, they stop because it gets difficult. But if you can get through that, then hopefully you'll become successful. But it's going to be uncomfortable, but you'll get through it. That's just my little message to people that are starting stuff, and especially when you start stuff in the black community, because we are very critical of each other.
Yeah, we need to stay together, and that's why ESN podcast is quite open to allowing other people to come on our show, and we have discussion. Like a lot of young podcasters come on our show, and we've helped them and facilitated them in many ways. Stav has really been quite a mentor to some podcasts as well, which I think is really nice of him.
It's very lovely.
But
you should let us see that side more.
Yeah, man, you should let them see the side.
Like, let us see that side.
That's inbox. I'm nice in the inbox.
Yeah.
On the page, I'm on the spot.
But one person did say something about us the other day, and I found it. I started responding, and I also responded, and sometimes you get criticism and blah blah blah. It's all and good, but it's not. Sometimes it's nice to see the positive things as well. And somebody said something about the fact that they know that we, as a podcast, we're not in big production studios. As you can see, Tops, you can see where we are. We're in a shop.
That's all right.
We're doing bits in a shop. But the way that our podcast sounds, the way that our podcast is produced, the way that our podcast comes out on a weekly basis without fail, shows you the dedication and hard work that we put into it. And somebody was saying the other day that, they see that, they know that we don't have a big budget studio. They know that we're not in some places that other places people are. But our podcast sounds better than theirs. Our podcast is always cleaner than theirs. Our podcast is always at a certain level. And you know what? When you say stuff like that, that's for me is the things that I find and take it most dear to my heart. And I don't even edit all the time, but I find those things to be the things that I love to hear. When people talk about the fact that you can see the dedication and hard work that we put into making sure that you guys hear something every week. Sometimes I don't want to hear stuff.
When it comes from other people, it is a big deal to us. So give us our accolades. But I always try to tell these guys here that don't underestimate every single week doing a podcast, bruv. We don't miss a week. You know what I mean? There's 5 of us. We've got one that's missing. Large Up Yourself, the actor. But we've been doing this for how long?
October 2010.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we had a little break, and then we come
long
back.
break.
A long ass break.
But from the break, we ain't missed no week.
Man, we're doing
You get me?
sex.
So
Who's your bedroom that has the podcast network? What's the name of it? Oh, sorry, don't say his name because I know he likes me low key. The name of the podcast network.
Shout out network.
Yeah. So when I saw him at the your
And
team,
he done the same.
he was surprised when I said that we haven't missed a week. He's like, "Have you knew?" I said, "Bruv,
He gives us an accolade still.
like we ain't missed a week. You had to challenge me,
Oh, he's a joker.
Do you know
what? That's amazing. That is amazing. The consistency to get all of you in here. Well, not all of you. But
Okay.
It makes it easy because there's 5 of us.
And,
in it.
Yeah.
and we don't say this often. But I'm saying it now. I would like to salute our partners that have to go through us, either getting up in the middle of the night to leave them to come and do these stupid podcasts every week, or
And he's gonna need his stupid podcast.
yes, I am, because for them it's a stupid podcast.
I salute my partner
Yeah.
all the time.
No, I want to say thank you for being, accepting of us. You don't know. It's just like, okay, fair enough. We're recording it, so they're not going out to go sleep with another woman, but you never know. But
Man can multitask.
There's times that we're just leaving them in the middle of the night. There's times that they're saying to us, "Oh, can you do this?" And we're like, "Well, sorry, no, we have to stop doing this because we're gonna go and do the podcast and stuff like that." So I would like to say, on my behalf, I appreciate all of the time and effort that you, as my partner, put into this podcast as well as I do.
Aww.
Ain't the show.
Okay,
But I'll come if
And then
she told me
Stav
not
is
to come
next.
anyway. Still,
Stav is gonna say this is gonna come out 2 days before my wedding anniversary, because I had the traditional anniversary that's already gone, and then 8 days later we had the white wedding. So this is coming out in the middle.
It's your third,
We're recording it. This is my 3rd wedding anniversary. So happy anniversary, wife. We're going away a couple of days after. It's not actually for the anniversary, but so be it. So we're going back home, and we're taking our daughter to see back home both countries that her heritage is from for the first time.
so Poland and
I will, yes, Poland and Nigeria. So, wife, I love you very, very much, and I'm gonna co-sign what Wahala said. But I'll tell you to your face all the time. My wife is an angel. She's a legend. The way she's so patient to stay by my side and just because she was doing this before we got together.
yeah, I don't say that as much as my wife.
Before we got married, she had to deal with the real stuff because this is once a week, and I do a lot of it. I do most of the editing. So there are times when she's like, go to bed, and I'm editing 2, 3, 4 in the morning. But the group was the hard work. The group was the hard work.
That was the hard work.
That was because that was 24/7.
Definitely the hard work.
Yeah, so that was a lot, and she put up with that. So this is like peanuts compared to that, I guess. So, but anyways, you're a legend. I love you. Happy anniversary. I bought her a present and I lost it. So that's that.
Look at that husband is you, man.
Are you going to replace that same present?
She told me not bother. I'll find it somewhere. It's gonna be somewhere. I'll find it somewhere.
You
But
tell us
because,
what What'd you get?
Shower.
That's fixed.
It's 2 days before the anniversary,
I
so you
couldn't
can't
help-
really say no.
I couldn't help
can I
it.
say, February was the Valentine's, and I gave her these tickets, and basically it's like I will do any,
Where's
I
your
will
boyfriend?
either do this chore or I'll give you a back rub.
What?
Or I'll do. It's like
Is that what you tried to give your wife?
No, listen to me. There were tokens that I put around the house.
Oh, that's whack.
Yeah, it's not whack.
It is.
It's
It's
good.
been done.
Okay, Tops.
Friends are
Tops.
getting
This is what happened.
He got
yeah?
this from somewhere else, and
Yeah.
it's okay. It's
No,
okay,
No, it's
bro.
not okay.
Okay.
Why?
Not when you're
on.
Stavros boss.
Lonely.
So what I did was basically, let me give you the short version. She had basically like vouchers that you could redeem for a
Why
massage
you ashamed?
or whatever. Why are you ashamed? No, I don't get it.
Because you're meant to be you talk about how you're such a G and you got really good presents and you do all of
Valentine's.
this. Nah, that's whack.
She doesn't even like celebrating
Nah,
Valentine's.
that's
Okay,
whack.
so what was the vouchers
It's like
Stab
just
love.
a bunch of different things
that she
that
could redeem?
Yeah, so
Stab
Right,
love.
like what?
Every Tuesday.
like she wants to take me out kind of thing.
Oh, do you not, okay, but you do that.
Did you hear what
Anyway.
she did?
Oh,
So
yeah.
you do, but you do that anyway, though, right?
Of course.
So then, what's the vouchers for?
because
She gets to tell him what to do.
So
Right.
she gets stabbed
Well, my
love
point
every
is she
Tuesday.
hasn't redeemed one.
Because what is the point of
Yeah,
redeeming
because
them?
you do them anyway.
They're whack.
I don't massage her like all the like some of them is
Wow.
just a massage, isn't it?
Okay.
I can't remember the last time I massaged.
Oh, I had a lovely massage this week. Sorry, just got to put that in there.
So you're
from the husband.
No, I went to a spa.
so
Yeah, one of them was a spa date. Like because I don't like do all that stuff, and she does actually like going to spas, and I
Yeah.
don't want
Oh,
to.
no,
So
take her
that's
to
one
the
of the
spa.
things.
Take her to the
I've
spa.
taken her to the spa, but I don't go in. I let her do her ticket. I'm sitting outside.
So you don't go. You don't want a
Yeah, but
massage.
that's the whole idea, isn't it?
You're meant to do it
But
together.
that's what the vouchers were.
Yeah,
if
but
you
we're-
want me to come in
we're
with
not
you,
them type of
then
man
you
there
use the voucher.
I don't like people touching me,
What am I doing that for, man?
This was amazing.
No, man.
I've
Sometimes it's alright, man.
taken her to spa, man. We've gone West End.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't want them doing was I didn't want them touching my face.
Okay.
Don't touch my face. But the rest of it, fine. You're naked underneath, and you feel a bit like once you get relaxed. Oh my god, it was amazing.
See, but
I
this
fell
is
falls
asleep.
asleep
But
when
this
they
is
I
massage
fell
you.
asleep.
This is the problem that I have though, yeah.
How can you fall asleep? Somebody's just touching you.
Whenever I go to spa with my woman, whenever we go to spa together, we usually do it abroad. So when we go abroad, we go spa, take her to spa, and sometimes I do it with her.
Yeah.
Both times I've done it, I've come out all mash up
What do you mean?
because they always tell Helga to do the my thing like
They do what?
like the biggest, strongest person they can find.
He said Helga.
It comes out mash up because
One woman, right, we went to Turkey, yeah.
Don't resist the rest.
We went to Turkey and my missus, we both had this, like a massage, and my missus had one Thai lady, could have been weighs more than like about 5 stone, 6 stone, right?
And you get like
And
a
they
female
bought
German
me like
shot putter.
yes, she was. That's exactly that. She had about 13 to 14 stone of raw muscle.
Hold on. When she came into the room, were they introducing her like a WWE wrestler?
Yeah, they might as well. She might as well clicked her knuckles. She might as well.
Coming into the room.
And when I say this
weighing
woman-
at 13 stone,
This woman, yeah, she
7
got.
foot.
She said to me, first she made me strip naked, which I thought was wrong. But
She made.
Made you.
take it off. I was just meant to wear your pants, but she was like, panties not needed. I said, all right, fine. So then
I still had my. No, I still had
panty
all
not
that on.
needed. Panty not needed. So then,
Take it off.
so then I said, okay, fine.
So you were like, oh my god.
So I was
you
wearing
tore
my
your sock
towel.
off.
I'm taking my towel and I laid down. And when I say this woman, she attacked me. It's like she gave me like the biggest rest in me. She stepped on me for one. She stepped on me. She grabbed my leg. She pulled it almost to the back of my. She did so much stuff to me. And by the end, when she was finished, she smiled and was just like, yes, like she did something really good. I couldn't walk for about an hour or so.
I don't get massages.
So throughout the whole thing, you didn't tell her, this is a bit much. Or,
No,
like,
because
relax,
I was
or-
trying to be British polite.
When I went to Thailand and they tried to give me one of them massages, I was just like, no, you stop.
The Thailand one.
Because she was like hurting me. I was just like, can you stop, please?
It's called a deep tissue
Nah, the
massage.
Thailand
I was
one.
like, I'm a little thing. I was just like, stop it.
When they want to touch your soul.
But my husband loved it. I'm like,
Yeah.
of course, you're a big guy. I'm a little thing. I was just like, I'm
The
alright.
Thailand one was deep. When I went to Thailand, they did that to me.
Nah.
The Thailand ones. When she did my feet, she prayed to Buddha first. It's like she needed actual prayers before she could touch my feet.
Same thing I can relate. I was in LA, Muscle Beach, and this was on our honeymoon, part of our honeymoon. And she like, it's my honeymoon, and fine, I'll allow it for once because you're like, do it.
Yeah.
And it's just on the beach, innit, where you sit on a chair and they do it. And I come out and I felt worse than when I went in.
There's different types of massages.
No, there is.
She
Yeah,
is
there
so
is different
obsessed
types.
with me having massage. What is your obsession? If you
Because
do
you're
it,
always tense.
why is it you
No,
must
no.
make
If you
me do
get
it?
if you get the right
You
one,
must have stood out like a sore
Because
thumb
the
on
spa I
Muscle
went
Beach.
to, the spa I went to this week, they asked me. They were like, there was 2 ones we offer. They were like, do you want this one? And I was like, what's the difference? And she was like, well, this one is a bit more of a deep. I was like, no, but it's just like her deep. I was like,
You
all
don't
right.
want deep
I want relaxing.
This one touch your skin, this one touch your soul.
Racism.
There's the laugh. I've been waiting for that laugh.
Bruv, you're bad.
Racism.
Take that shit back, man.
No, but that's how I told
That
them in
was
Thailand, boy.
horrible.
That's how they sounded in Thailand. Trust me, boy.
No, this laugh.
I do what you like.
No, you guys are terrible.
He's bad, you know.
He said this one touch your skin, this one touch your soul, you know.
You're fucked up, man. Straight.
You are. That's horrible. And then it's not helping that stab is like.
And then that's your
Having
2
a-
rights when you're finished.
Is having a heart attack in the back.
Nah, casual racism is a beautiful thing. Let's be real.
2 more 5 by 10 plus 1 podcast done. Podcast is over. It's over. It's over. No more,
Oh my god.
No more. Wahala. Church notes and goodbyes.
All right, so can you come back to me?
Simple Simon. Church notes and goodbyes.
Yeah, at Simple Simon FB on Twitter. I got nothing for you this week, man. But stay tuned, stay locked in. Peace.
I'll do my thing then whilst I'm waiting. And let me get my phone. Did I drop my phone once? I was like, oh god. Sorry about the poor quality. There's something wrong with one of these mics, and it's flared up, I think. And jeez, hold on, let me catch my breath. All right, that comedy show that I was discussing earlier on is by Hannah Gadsby, and it's called Nanette. It's on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, look for Hannah Gadsby Nanette. Once again, I don't think it's actually the best comedy show ever.
You right there, stuff?
No. But go for it. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. Just go for it. And towards the last half hour, it just switches into something else. It's social commentary, and it's quite deep. Especially men. I think because she is talking to men as well. So I think as a man, go and listen to it, and maybe it might resonate with you. Maybe you might understand it. Maybe you might feel it like I did. Catch me at Stavros Boss on Twitter, and we can discuss things. Mr. Wolf.
Yeah, you can catch me on Instagram, aka Mr. Wolf, and on Twitter, aka _Mr. Wolf, if I'm bothered to go on there and engage with mad, stupid, idiotic people that want to flip.
We're not the fans though.
Yeah, people that say they can't hear you.
No, large up to Delali,
And the rest of the people that co-signed her.
and everybody that co-signed her, man. But you know what? I'm just me, man. I'll try my best, man. I'll speak up a little bit more.
You can't help but be sweet boy.
It ain't no sweet boy thing. It's just me, man. I'm not trying to be sexy on there, man.
Big Wahala.
Okay, so at Big Wahala on Insta, at Big Wahala on Twitter, and as we were talking about supporting our, as I said, our partners have been supporting us, I will also be supporting my partner at Afro Hair Talk, where she will be doing a talk about locks, because she is a loctician. That's what they call them. And that is on the 2nd of September, and it's at the Strand Palace Hotel, London, WC2ROJJ. Again, that's Afro Hair Talk. You can go and get your tickets from eventbrite.co.uk. Pick up your tickets. Come and see my missus. There's a couple of other people there as well. Yeah.
We've run long again. Tops.
Hi.
Church notes and goodbye. Well, before we do that, thank you for coming again.
Thank you so much for having me. This was actually a lot of fun, and I got to see this laugh live.
So did you see it last time?
I don't think it was that to that degree.
You said it's a lot of fun, like you didn't enjoy yourself last time.
I did. I'm pretty sure I said it the last time.
I don't know. I'm emotional, innit? What can I say?
Well, after that laugh, I think you might want to have a nap.
A nap.
Wow, we're going out. We're going out, innit? Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So church notes. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You're a legend. Oh, you know what? Just before we go, can I big up a podcast called Over the Bridge?
No, you can't.
You just did.
I have listened to them.
That last
They're
they're 4 guys from Cambridge.
Yeah.
And they talk about studies and stuff like that. From what I've heard a couple of episodes, not too many. Their host is a proper host as well, so no shots to have a podcast, but he hosts the actual podcast. And the last episode they had one of that college, that school you were talking about where people are getting A stars.
Brampton Manor.
Brampton Manor. Mm-hmm. They had a student from there. I forget his name. He's a Ugandan student. He came here when he was 9 or something. Anyways, he got a bunch of good grades, and he got into Cambridge himself. And so they interviewed him, and it's a fantastic episode. Any of you that have teenage sons or daughters, and you're concerned about academia, and you want them to have some sort of inspiration, or to have somebody to look up to think, yes, you can get into Oxford, Cambridge, and all these kind of high education places. Listen to this episode. I got emotional. I actually got emotional listening to the end of it. It was fantastic to hear.
Did you cry?
No, but I was close. This young boy just discussing his journey from school to where he's going now, and having these people, that the elders that have been there, and they're encouraging him and guiding him through and telling him, passing on their advice to him as well. And you said that the head teacher for that school was Nigerian. They call him Uncle, but like not to his face, but he's called Uncle. And what he was saying about the head teacher, about the school in general, wicked. I understand now why they get, because the way he talks about the teachers and how it's wicked. Just listen to that one episode. It's got I can't remember the child's name, but I'll find it after Tops has done her church notes and goodbyes. My voice is gone. Sorry.
Wow, intense love.
It's simple, man.
So what church notes is what? My social media and stuff.
Anything you want to promote, and then your social media, yeah.
Okay, so obviously I'm going to promote Candid Conversations.
Plug.
We are Candid Conversations on YouTube. We're Candid_London on Twitter.
Obviously.
So yeah, just follow the platform. We've got a few episodes are out already for season 3, and we've got a lot coming up as well in the next couple of weeks. We're shooting the next 6 episodes next Sunday. We actually have one of the guys from that podcast as a guest on one of the episodes. So,
okay, wicked.
Yeah, so it's doing really well. So yes, please support the platform. And if you have any suggestions of like topics or even guests, then please do not hesitate to contact us. You can at me as well, at SincerelyTops on Twitter and Instagram.
So someone didn't even get re-invited though, still, you get me?
You've been there twice, man. What's wrong with you?
Do you know what? I actually would have you come back because we want to talk about toxic masculinity.
Why do you want him for that episode?
Because I want to hear what you have to say about that.
See it there.
There you go.
And actually, do you know what? I actually want to hear what all of you think. Actually,
I'm not in the country.
No. We've got another 2.
So it's not the next week one.
So we've got one next week. Yeah, no, this is for we've got another 2 days coming up.
Okay, when you're ready, anyway.
I will let you guys know.
A man got stung.
I want to know about all of that toxic masculinity, gender norms, all that stuff. I want to hear what you think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, if you want to hear all that stuff, then just listen to ESN and we'll tell you.
They're going to be on Candid Conversations.
Who's they?
I don't know.
ESN podcast.
I'll be out the country, you know.
What, you're going to be out the country until December?
Whatever day you record, I'm out the country.
Okay.
So that episode was season 2, episode 4, Over the Bridge podcast, and it's called Black Excellence. And the young man that's going to Cambridge that they were interviewing is called Baker. So yeah. Baker. So
it'll be good to speak to the uncle that's dealing with that thing, man.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Call him up.
All I see is A star.
But the thing is, he started off saying that they said he got 3 A stars. He said or whatever. He said it wasn't. He got A stars, but one of them was just an A. But he didn't say nothing because
he didn't want to guess.
Yeah, they put it on the thing. He said, "Well, what's the point in correcting them?"
He said one of them was an A.
It wasn't an A star. It was just an A.
Oh, okay. Like it was. Wow.
Well, yeah, he might have got one less meat at home when he got
the
home.
way he was talking about his fellow students. So when they gave him his bit at the end to big up, and he was saying, "Yeah, big up this one. You've been studying hard. You know, I know you've been staying up to 2 o'clock, and we've been calling each other." Just, oh man, it was so inspiring. It was wicked,
yeah, I need to catch up on that one. I've not
sorry.
Yeah, I will listen to that. I might listen to it on the way home. Actually,
listen to it. Anyways, okay. Yeah, we done.
Please.
We done. All right. Okay. Thank you for listening, and we are out.
Bye.
Remember, if you ain't saying nothing, say it well.
Slag for life. I've lost my voice. So it's very. You need to listen to that. You play that with your son. Listen to it together.
You do what
and
you like.
And have a discussion. Have a discussion with him about it.
I said you do what you like.